Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 24th installment of Bull Sitting on TSWS Gaming.
Goodness.
This week we have Gamescom, PlayStation acting a fool. We have extra controllers, and obviously we have some EA shenanigans to get through. So
we got games. Come on now.
We got games. Xbox doesn't have games.
Yeah, I did say
Oh
Gamescom. I did say Gamescom. So before we get into it, special guest we have all the way from Australia, Mr. David the Poet Faulkner. Welcome, David. Please tell us a little bit about you, what you do, what you like, what you don't like, and at the end of whatever you want to say about yourself, we're going to need to know two things specifically. One, what is the greatest video game console of all time? Second, what is the greatest video game of all time?
Right. That's not a loaded question at all. All right. So just a quick.
Sorry. There's a third one. What's the best console to get right now? That's the third one. Go ahead.
Right. Okay. So a quick bit about me. So my background is in financial analytics. I've got experience working in some top 20 global companies. I spent the better part of the last 10 years working in some top 20 global companies. So my area of expertise, I suppose, in this whole thing is around the finances and interpreting and what the quarterly reports mean, and reading the tea leaves and understanding what's coming and whatnot from that perspective. I've been involved in gaming since '95. So my first console was a Sega Mega Drive 2. Then picked up a PlayStation in '97 and have been in that ecosystem ever since. But had Game Boys, DSs, Switches, and a lot of Nintendo products as well. So, so that's I suppose a brief overview of what I bring to the conversation and that perspective. So to answer your questions, what was the first one? The greatest console.
The greatest video game console of all time.
I think everybody would probably be saying, your PS2 or Xbox 360 something. I think the it's going to sound a bit controversial.
Ham said the original Xbox was the greatest.
Yes, it is to me.
This
to me,
might be a bit controversial.
I don't want to go down that route. Stop it, Loke. Why are you doing that?
Go ahead, David. Go ahead.
I'd go as far as to say the Nintendo Wii.
Oh yeah, see, he understands. I was
gonna literally interrupt him and watch him say something wild like the Wii.
No, the Wii has a lot of really great games.
I wish I would have
did it. The Wii has lots of really great games.
Cozy, settle down. The amount of excitement that you have, because Jesus.
I did not have a Wii when it was current, so I had to hustle and collect 60 games for the Wii, and none of them were even the Nintendo mainline games. They're just random games that only existed on the Wii.
She got pumped up, didn't she? She got pumped up, didn't she?
David, you officially have an ally for the rest of the show. The Nintendo Wii is the greatest video game console of all time. What the hell? Go ahead.
Well, if you put everything in the context, I suppose I look at it from: do you get fun games, decent games? So pushing graphical quality is not the be all and end all. The other games fun to play, the mechanics of the games, the variety of the games that come through, but I suppose more importantly, how broad a reach, how far and wide into non-gaming people did the Wii reach out to, and especially with things like Wii Sports and some of the other games that they popped out with motion controllers and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, and most households that have got a console in them will have one or two people in that household that are really keen on it. The rest sort of don't ever pick it up. Every person that has a Wii in their household would constantly have nearly everybody in that household wanting to use it at some time. So it's more of a broader entertainment package. But that's my thought on what I thought the
greatest console
would be. If we ever wanted to get into the down the rabbit hole on if it's all about graphical quality or is it all about gameplay mechanics or whatnot, then
that's an entire stream all on its own.
We could be here for weeks.
Yeah.
Greatest game.
Yeah.
I think Metal Gear Solid 1.
This guy gets it! This guy gets it! Oh my god!
Oh my god! You thought Cozy was
oh man! This guy gets it.
Loke just got his rocks
Welcome
off
to TSWS Gaming, Mr. David Faulkner. Wow!
Oh my fucking god!
All right, go ahead. Tell us why MGS1 is one of the greats. It is the greatest. Please tell us. Please tell us.
Over elaborate because Loke will let you do it.
Ham, sit down. Ain't nobody talking to you. Sit down. Go ahead, Dave. Go ahead.
The whole game. So nothing like that had ever really been achieved. They'd sort of tried with Tomb Raider. They tried with a couple of other games to put something there, but they never really brought the whole package together. What they managed to do with Metal Gear Solid 1 was, here's an extremely brilliant story told in an extremely brilliant setting in terms of what they could do graphically. The gameplay was paced well. The impact points were amazing. There was a bit of quirkiness in there in some of the characters that sort of it kept you held in, and I'll be honest, I miss it because I used to play that thing every week for a while. That I'd be rotating through games and I'd just pick it up. I used to be able to get through the whole game start to finish in 6 hours, and everyone goes, yes. "Oh, that's ridiculously fast." But no, that's just how good the game was. It was. You took your time, you could get it out 8-10 hours, but if you really wanted to pace through it, you could get through it in 5-6 hours. But it was just, it kept drawing you back because you could do things a little bit differently. You could do this here, do that there, and it wasn't a really fast paced, like everything's happening in a split second for the whole game. So when it did have those elements where it sped up and it created, trying to create those elements of immersion. Every time I hear that warning, that Metal Gear Solid warning for when you get seen, you hear that
my goodness.
Anywhere, instantly my heart starts racing because that game was just, when you heard that noise, you were in shit. And it was relentless. They would chase you relentlessly. So just the impact that the game had to, it's not just run over here and jump like Mario was, or Crash and Spyro's run around and hit this and run that, and it just all of a sudden it drew you in to a degree with emotional reactions or physical reactions to sounds. And some parts of that game
changed the game literally.
When you're in the electric thing, getting the torches.
Oh man,
here we
go. You're smashing that button, and people were just like, "How do you do this? How long does this go for?" And just. No, and no one ever else had come up with how do we do that? Like swapping the controllers into the second port to be able to defeat a boss. Who thinks of that shit? And that's the sort of out of the box thinking. But the storytelling and the setting and the pacing was just that's my pick. Now what was the third question? Now
what's the best console right now between Nintendo Switch, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5?
Tricky one because each of them offer something the other one doesn't to an extreme.
Look doesn't want to hear that shit though.
Well, look,
yo, we're trying to get an answer. I'm sorry, Dave. I'm sorry, you're on the spot. Yeah, we're trying to get an answer. You have one house. You can only buy one game for one household. Give us an answer and tell us why.
It'd be a biased answer because I'm invested in the PlayStation ecosystem. But if we want to take purely unbiased, what's the best value for somebody who's just starting to get into gaming? If it has to be a console, you'd be hard pressed.
No. Hold on. Dave, around on this YouTube channel, we're not these people that pretend to be something that we're not. We're authentic, and bias is a part of the human state. The same way hypocrisy is part of the human state. No matter, there's nothing you can say today, Dave, that if someone had the file for your entire life, you haven't said the opposite before, or you're not going to say the opposite tomorrow. So, you are you biased? Tell us why PlayStation's the best. Cozy, you're muted. You're muted, Cozy. Come on.
Don't let him bully. Oh.
Yeah, mute. Even her microphone didn't want to pick that up.
Oh.
What the hell? What were you saying, Cozy? What did you say?
Don't let him bully you, Dave. Stand your ground.
I'm bullying him. I'm telling him to be authentic.
Bully, just like a Texan. Just like a Texan.
All right, go ahead, Dave. Tell us why the PS5 is the best console.
If you can get your hands on one, look, I've always.
If you can sacrifice enough babies.
Yeah, sell a couple of kidneys and half your liver, and you might get lucky.
Oh my goodness! You might get lucky.
You might get lucky, yeah. Look, I think in terms of quality and volume at the moment, it's difficult to look past the PlayStation. But then again, it's damn near impossible to get one. So I've always had PlayStations because I'm not big on the first-person shooters. I like the story-driven games, and PlayStation's just always had that. As I say, from Metal Gear Solid 1 all the way through. PlayStation's always been the place where you get those big, powerful, story-driven games, whether it's JRPGs or your story action games like the Uncharted series or those sort of ones. So that's where my preference lies is there, and I've always been one that sees the quality side of the aspect, and I don't mind paying for the quality. But if you
so there's no quality on Xbox. You got that, Ham? Did you get that?
No, that's not what I said.
That's not what he said.
Relax, dude. Relax. I'm just taking the mic. Oh, look at
him. Away the gas. This is why you can't have nice things.
Finish your point, David. Finish your point.
So that's my household, right? We've got three Nintendo Switches now, and a PlayStation 5, and a PlayStation 4, and a PS3 2 and a 1, and all the rest of it. We got everything that we've ever owned, right? That aside, and that's just the household we're in. If you're, as I said before, if you're first coming into gaming and you've never experienced it before or whatever else, if you're looking for value, Xbox Series S and Game Pass is a great starting point. I won't deny that because it's cheap as shit. But if you want to have a broader impact across the whole household, a Nintendo Switch is almost impossible to go past, just because of the party games and the multiplayer games you get on a Switch that, from 5-year-olds to grandparents can pick up a controller and have fun playing, Mario Kart or whatever it is, because they're very forgiving games. I know that doesn't answer your question directly, but
no,
that's what I mean.
PlayStation 5 is the best console right now available. That is your answer, correct? Or you can deny it if that's all what you think.
If you're going to say for consoles, in terms of consoles, it's very difficult to get past it. PlayStation 5. Right. The problem is getting hands on one.
No. The idea here, when I ask you this question, forget about all the technicalities. The idea is you are a wizard. You can make anything materialize, but you can only make one console materialize for a household. What's the best one that you're going to give them? It's the PS5, correct?
Yeah.
From what you just said.
Yeah. My
all right.
Is me. My preference is to buy.
Take that, Ham Solo. All right, so let's get into the show. Let's get in the show earnestly. Cozy, what have you been playing this past week?
I actually forgot about Hades, so I have been getting back into that, which is kind of annoying because I so many games.
So many games. Say it again, sister. Say it.
So many games.
Ham, what you been playing?
I actually been playing a little bit Death Stranding.
Oh, PC? Dude, Stranding.
PC Game Pass?
I've caught up to where I was on my PS5 on my PC. And I'm juggling which one I want to continue to play it on, because I like sitting on my couch. a lot more. I mean, and I'm a console gamer at heart, but like those Xbox achievements are there for
goodness,
for the
PC
the
Game
Xbox
Pass.
version. So I'm just wondering, I'm just weighing out right now because I'm like maybe 5-10 minutes further on the PS5 version than I am on the PC one. I wasn't sure how I liked it when I first played it. Didn't really like it that much, to be honest.
Remember, you were bitching about it.
But this time, I like cut everybody off. Like I did not go into a party chat, no nothing. So I just sat, listened, and watched what was going on. So I wasn't being distracted or anything. And then the story actually started, materializing for me and stuff like that. So it is getting a lot more interesting. I do now know that I didn't know before that he's traveling across the United States to pretty much like find. I'm thinking like Amelia or Emily or Emily.
Okay, spoilers.
Wait, you haven't played it?
No, I have. Dude, I'm the one who told him to get the game. Of course, I played it.
Wait, who's
the long story.
Oh, you haven't played it yet?
That's all I know so far with the story.
Thank you.
It's literally what you. Yeah. So I'm gonna try my best not to spoil anything else. But anyways, moving forward, I've been also playing like Blitz the League on my OG Xbox as well, because that game's fire. Some NCAA 06. I'm still dabbling with my season on that. You're still
capping for NCAA 06. Move on, bro. Move on.
Dude, I played that game so
much.
The war
was fought and lost.
PS2, and it feels good to still play that game.
The war was fought and lost, Ham.
Gotta play it.
You're like those Confederates who still have the flag, dude. It's over.
Also been playing some more.
It's been over.
Cruising USA. This game's fantastic as well. I need to get into Spy Hunters. That's what's showing on this screen right now.
All right. Thank you, Ham. Thank you. Listen, for everyone in the chat,
he's so disrespectful.
For everyone in the chat, I'm taking the dub. I kept insisting that Ham Solo should get Death Stranding. I practically forced him to get that game. I even sent you money for PayPal, remember? So you buy to pay like half of it. So just you saying that you're getting into it, I'm taking that as a dub for me. I won that argument.
I haven't even finished it yet or anything
dude,
like that. Like,
I won.
I'm too early in the game to even judge it right now. I was saying I wasn't really
taking that win.
Because I couldn't catch the wave on the story before, but now I can, and it feels better. I'm not going to say it's great though yet, because I just don't know. The fidelity wise, it is freaking fantastic though.
All right, let's get it started, guys. Whew, this one's going to be long. Gamescom.
Before you get started, I just want to shout out the chat and thank everybody for coming here, because Loke was very lackluster when it came to being prepared today.
Fuck off.
He over here using phone after phone, PC breaking in his face every Friday. This dude,
he's your average Texan.
You see the suit and tie, but don't let it fool you. Bro's briefcase is looking busted. Bro's briefcase is looking musty. But anyways,
whatever, man.
But anyways,
shout out to the chat. Let's move on.
Shout out to the chat, Mr. Joanna Dark, Too Big, Steak Mon, Nelson Gaming.
Too Big's in.
Too Big's here. Oshus, Strictly,
Wiz,
Steve Watson, Blind Giant. I'm sure I'm missing a couple.
Welcome.
I appreciate
y'all.
If
you're missing, shouts out.
That chat moving.
Shouts out.
All right. Let's get it popping. Gamescom.
Oh yeah.
If you watched Gamescom, just put your hand up.
Wait, what? But if I watched it actual live or just caught what I?
Did you watch anything related to Gamescom?
I watched the first day, the second day, and part of the Xbox one.
Cozy, I'm shocked that you
I had
watched
to be
it.
prepared. It was lackluster.
Cozy, I'm shocked that you watched the
It was
damn thing.
lackluster,
Anyways.
but I had to be prepared.
Okay. So let's start with the obvious question. And we'll start with Dave. Dave, what was the most impressive video game that you saw at Gamescom?
That's a tough
Impressive.
one. I didn't think there was a
No.
huge amount of
I'm
impressive
not even talking
there.
about the top 3, the top 5, the one game that you saw at Gamescom, you're like, pre-order locked.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I actually didn't think Gamescom opening night was all that flash, to be honest. Lies of P looks alright, but it's too much like Bloodborne. I just can't. If I saw it and all I could see was Bloodborne, and it's great. It would be great for those who haven't played that.
It looks like it's better than Bloodborne, but okay.
Well, you're comparing against what a nearly 10-year-old game there, so sorry, 7-year-old
Hey man,
game.
Saints Row says hi. Just because something is new doesn't mean it's great. Anyway.
Exactly. There are a couple of indie games there that got shown that I thought were all right. But I actually, there was nothing there that jumped out at me that said, "You've got to play me now." That's just from my personal perspective.
Not one game.
Nothing that
That's
was
hot take.
Nothing that was shown on opening night live that jumped out at me and said, "You've got to play me." There's been other games that have been at Gamescom that I've looked at and gone, "Yeah, I'm definitely keen to play that," but it's nothing that was announced at games on opening night live that jumped out and grabbed me. I thought it was an average showing, like for the lack of
Gamescom. All right. Hats off to that one. Literally, hats the fuck off. Okay. Nothing. Not one game. Okay. Ham Solo. What was the one game that you were like, I need to get?
I feel like that need to get thing, I kind of agree with David on, because it was just like, I mean, Hogwarts definitely didn't make me more excited. When I seen that trailer, I was just like, man, I'm actually a little less excited after seeing that, because you guys just told me about the launch, and I thought it was going to be this holiday season because I could have swore that's what they said.
And then they moved it to February.
And then they moved it to February, and then they give me that show, and I'm like, get that shit out of here. And I already know that thing is coming out later than I anticipated. Just watching that wasn't a good enough deep dive or a good enough amount of gameplay for me to really even care that it was even there. High on Life was probably one of my more exciting ones there. The game doesn't look like it's like a crazy AAA experience, but it looks fun. It looks goofy. It looks like it can keep my attention. So if I were to give any game, probably like
played Psychonauts 2 and you enjoyed it. So High on Life must be like amazing for you.
It looks hilarious. Like I'm totally down to laugh while I'm playing games. I just got done beating South Park Fractured But Whole, and I was dying the whole time I was playing that. And I'm not even into turn-based games. You know that. Yeah, but I played the hell out of that, and it was just so funny, and it has me looking a little at turn-based a little differently. I know you're watching Stink Mom. There you go.
Hackers. Hackers too, man.
I want to find the right genre within turn-based and kind of see if I can hop on that train, and maybe it'll get me open more to other turn-based games that are maybe taken more serious and stuff like that. Because originally growing up, I hated Final Fantasy VII too.
Oh, dude. You're going to lose so many followers. Just say that. You didn't have to say that. You didn't have to nuke your entire profile.
Didn't have to say that, but I did.
What the fuck?
It is booty cheeks. He's right.
Even Dave was like, what the fuck? Did he just say that shit?
Previous shows. You look at my previous shows, I said it before. I'm not a Final Fantasy fan. Never been a Final Fantasy fan.
Neither am I.
It'd be interesting to become a Final Fantasy fan because I'm so not a Final Fantasy fan.
I saw your reaction real time. Please rip him to shreds.
Go ahead.
I can't. If you don't like turn based, I can't rip you. All right, but all I can say is that you missed out on an excellent story that still holds up today if you didn't play Final Fantasy VII.
Especially with the global warming and stuff. It's so relevant.
Give the remake. Give remake a crack. If you didn't like turn-based but you like action, give remake a crack if you haven't yet, because that'll fix the problem.
I have it through game sharing. I just don't have any care to really.
Just finish Death Stranding first. Finish Death Stranding first.
Yes, I will. I will definitely do that.
First, tell us what you're eating. What are you eating? What is that?
I don't have any special food today. I'm just eating cabbage right now because I'm hungry.
Wait, is that like cabbage? Just cabbage? Put it closer to the screen.
Yeah, it's just like a cabbage. See?
You're eating raw cabbage.
We'll give you quick funny story about cabbage. In Australia, we had a heap of flooding up in Queensland where most of the lettuce crops get grown for the whole country, right? So since about the end of May, start of June, there's been a lettuce shortage while the next round of crops gets grown after the flooding. So KFC and McDonald's have had to substitute lettuce because we haven't had any in country and we don't import it. They've substituted lettuce with cabbage. So we've been chewing on burgers with cabbage on them for the last 3 months.
What about your stomach?
Doesn't worry.
Cabbage.
I love cabbage, but I eat a lot of it. So
yeah,
if you don't eat a lot of it, it's
right. Mr. Inferno said it right. Rabbit food.
What the fuck? Cabbage. I hate cabbage. Okay, Cozy, what was the best game? What was the best game at Gamescom? With your cabbage eating face.
There were 3 great games.
One.
No, I'm not picking one. You can't make me.
Oh my god.
You can't make me. Okay, fine.
Hear me wrong. I won't let a bunch of men tell me what to do.
I will skip the one that you already know that I'm into. But surprisingly, I'll start off obviously Goat Simulator 3.
What?
Yes. Goat Simulator 3?
It's on brand. You're eating cabbage. It's on brand. It makes
I love Goat Simulator, so why wouldn't I love Goat Simulator 3?
It comes together perfectly. It's perfect, Cozy. Well done.
And as someone who hates Rick and Morty, I hate Rick and Morty. Absolutely hate it.
You would hate Rick and Morty.
I still think it's funny, but I'm kind of sold on High on Life.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are the best games that you guys saw. Now we're going to do a quick rundown of each one of them that pop most on social media. Let us begin with Where Winds Meet. Ham, did you see this one?
Yeah, it was the one that kind of gives you that Ghost of Tsushima feel.
Okay. My question is, are you concerned that it's a Chinese developer that has never developed any other game?
Why would I be concerned about it?
You got to start somewhere.
Why would I be concerned about it? I just don't understand why that falls in my line of caring.
I don't know, man. Uyghur camps, Uyghur Muslim camps, and stuff like that.
If it's not good, I just won't even play it. I just won't even talk about it. But if it's good, I'll be talking about it. I just need to see more about it. I need to.
So don't mind that it's Chinese, then. It's fine.
Oh.
I mean, yeah. Where I stand right now, it is fine. Where I stand with it right now, Dave, it's fine.
Dave. What do you think of Where Winds Meet, and how do you feel about a Chinese developer putting out probably a very, very good looking AAA game?
The first part of that question is what I think about it. I thought it looked solid. It's obviously going to draw comparisons with Ghost of Tsushima and a few others, but there's a lot of games coming out in that subgenre, I guess. Those feudal Asia. There's a few others that are coming as well. So, I suppose they're getting in where the getting's good to a degree. It's PC only. I don't know if that's the sort of game that's going to do really well on PC. I think it feels like more of a console game. But then, as you said, they're having their first crack at it. PC market's huge in China. Console market is
gigantic.
Fairly registering in China too. As for the piece about what do I think about it being a Chinese developer, I think the important piece will be who's producing it, who's funding it, and what's its target audience here. It's more if they get good production and they can bring out a polished game, it will do okay outside of that region. But then, if the target is to just have it approved and playable in China and those regions, well, that'll be fine. I don't particularly like to get into the whole a Chinese developer's good, bad, or indifferent, because then we'd get into the whole, well, like you say, everybody's going to start somewhere, but then who's nurturing them is what's their local industry like with nurturing them. And they'll always get comparisons to the big players in Europe and America, but they have a crack and they go, all right, it looks like it's got potential. I'm not 100% sold they're going to deliver it.
All right, before you continue, Loke, I'm gonna go on ahead back to the chat real quick because they've entered the conversation on this, and Patrick's laser fart says first he shouts out to Cozy, someone else who hates Rick and Morty, and then he says, why should that matter as long as the game is good, referring to this game,
the Chinese thing.
Yeah, the whole Chinese thing that you were just talking about. So do you want to answer that at all, Loke?
No, he has the right to his opinion, man.
Okay.
I'm not Chinese. I don't work for the Chinese government. I respect people's opinions.
And then
I respect people's opinions.
And then Asha says Wukong exists, so the Chinese are coming. They come. And then Nelson Gaiman says China taking over.
Welcome, Nelson.
You see Lost Souls aside. My God, here to save gaming. There.
Jamie's not exactly dying, but okay. Cozy, where wins meet?
I'm actually excited for it, and push back against what you said when you said it seems like a console game. I don't think you realize that there are a lot of Chinese games that are already available and played on console. I mean, not on console, on PC. Same with Korean. There are a lot of games that you will never touch as a console gamer because they don't really put them on console, but are widely available on PC. So that fits in. And to add to that, I'm kind of excited for it, especially as someone who, every Chinese game I've played thus far, I've really enjoyed. They don't necessarily reinvent the wheel with a lot of their games, but they put something special on them. I think back to Naraka, which I play a lot of, and how that game has kind of changed a lot of the ways, I would have never played that type of game if it hadn't been that game. And just something about it kind of elevates the whole Battle Royale thing in a way that other games haven't.
All right. Next game.
I think
we got an extended gameplay.
Go ahead. Patrick's is asking you, Cozy, what your favorite Chinese game is.
Right now, it's Naraka. But there are a handful of visual novels. I can get you a list if you like visual novels that are also really fantastic.
We'll answer them in the chat. We got to keep it moving over here. Go on ahead, Lo.
All right. We got extended gameplay for Callisto Protocol. Cozy, were you planning on getting this game? And
you
the
don't even have
gameplay...
to ask me. You already know. The answer is no.
You asked her 7 times.
And you keep asking. You always. I don't play horror games.
What are you talking about, Cozy? I was just... All right. Callisto Protocol. You feeling it? The fan. Did you see the fan kill? That was gruesome.
Yeah, I mean, there were a few things to notice in that trailer. Obviously,
it wasn't a trailer. That was extended gameplay,
or that's what I mean. Gameplay, whatever. My bad for not using the technicalities. But But
it matters.
It does, especially Dave knows that matters. Super matters, especially when you're talking to an audience. So I appreciate you correcting me. But when I was watching that trailer, that gameplay, I did notice like a lot of the same moves were kind of getting used over and over, and I'm wondering if you get more moves as the game progresses, or if you're going to be kind of stuck to the usual maneuvers to get people away from you. Like I've seen that dude get thrown in the blender and then he walked away, and then like I'm guessing he's like regaining the stamina on that specific move or something like that, but he was fighting that monster until he could use it again, and then he used it again and splattered him as well. The game looked really nice though, especially when he was falling down and then he ended up cutting his body in half. That part was dope. But I'm just wondering if this game's going to have a lot of different elements to be able to, take people out and stuff like that. But I mean, all in all, I think this game looks good, and I'm pretty dang interested in checking it out. I don't know if it's a day one for me, because that time...
$70.
Well, for the fact that that time period of games coming out, it's just wild. I'm not sure what I'm getting first. So I know I'm gonna be getting the Plague's Tale, even though it's going to Game Pass. I'm gonna purchase that game, and I know I'm getting God of War. Everything else is up in the air, right? So those are the games I know I'm gonna get.
Dave, Callisto Protocol, is it right next to God of War in terms of your pre-orders? Because we all know you're pre-ordering God of War, or have already pre-ordered it.
No, I don't pre-order anything. I buy digitally,
Smart
so
man.
pre-ordering is pointless for me.
Oh yeah.
Smart man.
So
I pre-ordered the day before.
no, well, look. To be fair, the way gaming's done these days is they don't give you the thing working properly when they release it. So I usually don't buy day one. I wait until they get the big patches out the first month to fix all the bugs, and then I'll buy it when it's ready to go. So, and yeah, they want my full price. They want me to pay full price for the game. They give me the full fucking game. It doesn't matter. It'll still be there in 6 months' time after they release. It's not like it's going to be sold out.
All right. Yeah,
you
true.
think you're going to be able to hold yourself back while everybody else is posting this, that, and the third? You're going to be able to hold yourself back from a game that massive that you're going to wait 3 months down the road for the first patch? Because it might not even need one. We know it probably will, but
I don't need one.
Right? But I'm just being very hopeful and saying, what if it doesn't need one and you're just sitting around, just sitting on your hands?
I still haven't played The Last of Us Part 2, so
you're patient. You are a patient gamer.
Wait, so you want to play The Last of Us Part 2, but you haven't gotten it yet? Is that what you're saying? You actually want to play it, but you haven't gotten it?
Well, I haven't had time to play it yet, and I'm not going to buy it until I'm ready to play it, because what's the point? So my backlog is huge, and I only get a few hours a week to do gaming. And if that few hours a week is taken up by playing games with the wife or son or as a family, that's all I get. I can't make more time to do gaming. I'm extremely restricted at the moment. But I don't see any sense in. Well, I shouldn't say I don't see any sense in it. It'll come out, everyone will love it, and I'm quite accustomed these days to avoiding spoilers. But then, it month, 2 months, 3 months, I'll end up. It'll be one that I'll get and play a lot earlier. It'll jump up the list, but it's not necessarily something I'm pre-ordering, because, as I said, anyone who pre-orders digitally and doesn't get the top end ones with the extra stuff in it, what's the point of pre-ordering the standard? But
okay, so we went off on a little tangent there. We went on a tangent. Callisto Protocol.
Callisto Protocol. So I think that game looks brilliant. I've liked it ever since we first seen it. I'm not a big horror game player, but that's one that I am intending to get. And I agree with him to a degree that the gameplay looked sluggish, and it looked. It sort of raised more questions than it gave answers, but what I thought they were trying to show was you've got long range, so he's firing the gun, long range attacks. He's got whatever that gravity thing was that pulls them in close or stuns them. So you've got those sort of
pushes them away.
Mid-range things or pushes them away. And there's environment that you can use to kill opponents and all the rest of it. Or you can come in real close for the melee attacks. They seem to regen. I headshotted that guy, or that the zombie. He headshot, took his head completely off, and he still kept coming. So I wonder whether there's if there's any value in actually aiming, because if you take the head off and he still keeps coming, why would you bother with long range headshots? It almost makes that part of developing that skill pointless. So then I start wondering, what's the skill tree look like? If there's any development there, or do you just get bigger and better weapons? So it's piqued my curiosity. Definitely going to get that one. But also looking beyond the gameplay, the cast that's involved in it. It's got Sam Witwer involved in the cast, and the guys at Schofield that's made the game, made Dead Space, was involved in that. So there's a pedigree there.
It's certainly going to be a foundation.
Yeah, he even took the stage there.
Yeah, and I thought he spoke quite well, without giving too much away. But it's probably a horror game that's more my pace, because it's slow. A lot of people say it looks slow and clunky, yeah, but that suits me and my play style. I don't like the ones that are high paced. You've got to keep moving. You got to keep moving, because I just can't keep up.
Also, Ham, as far as the repetitive gameplay is concerned, technically you could say that about any video game.
Sure.
You go on YouTube and stream whatever game you want.
Yeah.
It's repetition.
That's you playing it. This was a showcase. So I wanted to see more than just the same move used twice. I wanted to see you kill him one way and then you kill him a different way. That's all I'm saying. I beat Elden Ring being repetitive as shit, but that was my choice by the end of the day. I know there's plenty of other options. With that game, and specifically in just that showing, I seen 2 guys get killed the same way and then he died. That's what I seen. And that's all I'm speaking on.
All right. Let's move on a bit. Hogwarts Legacy gameplay. David, what do you think about the gameplay for Hogwarts Legacy?
I thought it was solid without giving too much away, but I also felt it was more of what we were expecting anyway. I don't think it was showing us everything we really wanted to know. I think it was as I say, it was average. It was middle of the road. It showed us the game, how the game would operate, but it wasn't showing us anything new really from what we'd already seen in other trailers. But it wasn't really piquing my curiosity, because it's Hogwarts, everybody's going to buy the damn thing that wants to buy it. So.
Dude, my wife doesn't play video games. She was just passing by as I was playing, and as I was watching the trailer, she's like, "Is that Harry Potter?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Is that coming to one of these video games?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's coming to the console." She's like, "I want to try that shit." So now I'm using this as a chance to get like the Ultimate Edition, and she's gonna obviously green light it. So
yeah, you're gonna.
That's a dub.
And then you're gonna play it.
Yeah. Listen. Hogwarts Legacy in my house, unless I get a review copy, my wife's gonna play it. The most I'm going to interact with it is watching it when she plays it. But she's gonna get the first completion on it. Cozy, what do you think about the Hogwarts Legacy gameplay?
It looked pretty good. Especially as someone who's like not really a fan of what is it called? The
Harry Potter?
Yeah. Someone who's not a fan, it looked pretty exciting as a game, as far as like, what I expected it to look like for
character
a decent
creation.
game.
So that thing that you love
character
is
creation.
There. You have a black wizard.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you got.
Yeah.
That's you excited. Jesus, man.
You already asked, like, for the exciting games. I gave you the exciting games. This is just like,
Hogwarts not really exciting.
Yeah.
Whatever. All right, Hammerthy, Hogwarts Legacy gameplay.
I thought it was kind of boring, to be honest. I mean, like I said, I seen that they pushed the game back to February, and then I was excited to get it this holiday season, and then they push it back, which you gotta do what you gotta do. That's fine, pushing it back. But then to see some of the gameplay, I was just kind of like, oh man, like it just kind of killed my excitement knowing that it was later than it is. Like, so like I think if they would have kept the time that they said they were going to do, which was this holiday season, I would have probably been
Wasn't it supposed to come out close to God of War?
I don't know if I don't think God of War got announced before this thing was. No, God of War definitely didn't get announced because they were talking about this back in I think like February or
they had the
March
date, and then God of War got announced, and then they were like, "Nope, we're out."
Well, they had God of War had nothing to do with what I'm talking about because what I'm talking about is they had like a state of play for this Hogwarts Legacy that announced that it was going to be sometime during the holiday season. So all I'm trying to say, long story short, is it was cool to see that it was there, but it didn't further excite me at all because I seen that whole state of play thing and then they showed that and I'm just like, you pushed the game back. So, meh. Cool. But I'm sure there was a lot of people that were excited to see it.
You're feeling spiteful, Ham. You're feeling spiteful, Mr. Ham.
Yeah, you're feeling very spiteful. This one's gonna get spicy, the next topic. PlayStation DualSense Edge and the Xbox Series 2 controllers were announced or leaked during this past week. Let us talk about these controllers, y'all. Let's talk about them. David, before we get into the announcements of the new ones, how do you feel about the current controllers?
They're pretty good. I was quite surprised. Got the PS5, turned it on, cranked it up, played Astro's Playroom. Free game, test it out, see how we go. And I was quite surprised with how much of an impact the controller actually had across some of those feelings and how it operates. I actually think Astro's Playroom is a brilliant way of demoing the controller, to be honest, rather than the console itself. But son loved it, wife loved it. They love playing on it, and they're not really big on gaming anyway, but they enjoy the feel of it. And I love the haptics. Difficult to explain because you got to feel it, but I really enjoy how they've developed the haptics and the vibrations.
You haven't played with the Xbox controller, right?
I have used Xbox controllers, but I haven't used any of the Elite ones. But grew up playing on PlayStation, and that's my automatic muscle memory is this is how a controller should be. I don't particularly like how they're not heavy, and I don't like light controllers. It sounds weird, but I feel like I'm going to snap it in half when I get really, really into it. And I don't know, everybody's different, but it'd be nice if they were a bit heavier, like they had a bit more weight to them and feel a bit more solid. Other than that, I think they're quite a good evolution. For the current controller, the new ones coming, ergonomics, I think they're an improvement there, but I don't see a huge change. But I'm not a pro gamer.
I'm excited for the Edge, the DualSense Edge. Are you excited for that one?
Well, yes and no. I don't see any massive technological advancement there, and I'm probably not going to buy one for the additional price because I'm not going to get much. I'm personally not going to get any additional benefits out of having one. I mean,
you only play so much as it is,
you can adjust the sticks or all of that. Yeah. So, but if I was on there 4 or 6 hours a day and I was creating content and or I was playing competitive or Call of Duty or whatever,
Hell, if you had
and I
more
need to
time.
have it millimeter right, the ergonomics. Yeah, I had more time, I probably would. But I suppose apparently everybody's been asking for a pro controller from PlayStation, so they've made one. And they'll sell it like hotcakes because for some funny reason everybody likes to have 10 controllers.
Cozy. Are you
Yeah,
excited for the new Dual Sense Edge or
I'm excited
the
for the
new
people
Xbox
that
controller?
are excited for it. I don't really need those. I don't really need them. But if people are excited for it, yay, more power to them.
Go for it. Okay, but here's a little context. There's remappable buttons, turnable triggers and sticks, changeable
That's cool
stick
and all.
caps.
But I think everything I would do, I'm just like, a lot of that stuff is like, I can, like, if I have to do that much work, I'm just going to play with my keyboard and mouse. Or my what do you call it? Or my fight pad, if I have to do all that shit. Sorry.
All right.
It sort of feels like it ties back in with what Cozy's just saying. Yeah, they released the headphones and the monitors and all that. It feels like this is an accessory that should have come out in that announcement to say, well, here's the pro screens, here's the pro headsets, and here's a pro controller for everybody that wants to be that's in that segment of gaming. It doesn't really feel like it's aimed. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's aimed at every day.
Yeah, but marketing-wise, right? You don't roll it out on the same day. You spread it out, to keep the community engaged, to keep people talking, etc. It wouldn't make sense for them to announce everything at once. We live in a content and time management age where the time or people's time is what has value. Not
you can only focus on money. So many products at once, and if they rolled out and said, "Here's the monitor, everything, headphones, and controller," you're just like, you might catch one of them. compared to compared to one at a time where you can really focus in on oh my goodness, this VR, and then a month later, oh my goodness, this monitor, something like that.
Yeah, you want to say something, David?
They announced it. Sorry. Yeah.
You wanted to say something? Go ahead.
Yeah. So I didn't mean that they should have announced them all at the same time. It was part of that package that they were developing. But you raise a good point there. They announced the controllers. Was it a day or two after they announced that PSVR 2 is being released in early next year? So that they were dead silent and they started.
No, that was a leak.
Well, it leaked on the PSVR 2 or the controller.
No, the PSVR 2 was announced this week.
Yeah.
But when the screen was announced, the PSVR 2 leaked. They didn't actually announce it at the same time. It was just a leak. Yeah. But their plan was to release the screen first, and then the PSVR 2, and then a little bit later the controller, and then.
Yeah, that's right. And they still can't get it right.
Dude, in the information age, it will always leak. It will always leak. Listen, usually I just ask you guys questions and I don't give my take, but I have to say something about this.
Mm-hmm.
I like how.
You ass.
Oh shit! Sorry. Go ahead. Dual Sense Edge. Go ahead. Dual Sense Edge and the Series S2.
You don't matter, Ham.
So my question back to you real quick, Loke, is there's a new Xbox controller that got announced?
Yes.
Okay, I need to look up on that because
it got leaked.
Oh, okay, it got leaked. Okay. Got leaked. Okay, yes. So that's why I don't really know so much about it. But for the PlayStation controller, I thought that thing looked really cool. Like what I personally liked about it was, and Matt Likes Games pointed this out as well when we were looking at information about that, is you can take the sticks out and replace them. So like if you have like stick drift or something like that. I mean, you can just send it back to the place and they'll just replace it with a new one instead of sending your whole controller in, or you can buy backups in case something like that happens and just not even worry about it at all. You've seen all these controllers that came out at, like in the last few years. Stick drift. Every company is literally having that issue. It's not just Nintendo or Xbox or PlayStation. Like every controller can get stick drift. So to be able to have that interchangeable element to it is really cool. That's really the biggest part that I took away from the controller thing, was just like, you know, I look at the Elite and although I prefer my Xbox controllers, I was terrified to buy an Elite, and I never did, because so many people had to send their Elite controller back because of bumpers, because of stick drift. And I'm like, man, I'm not paying $200, $250 to get a busted product in just a couple months when I can just use this stuff right here that I know is just going to work just fine. Shoot, I think it was Matt or Vinny or somebody had a controller and they were shaking it around. It had some sound up in there. When they were shaking the controller, and that just isn't that's not supposed to be a $200 product, $250 product. Not at all. That's inexcusable. So yeah, I love me some Xbox, but I will be critical as a motherfucker.
One controller that has no stick drift. The Stadia controller.
Stop it. Stop promoting.
Can you
your
control anything with it though?
Sorry?
What can you control with a Stadia controller?
No, the joke is that no one is playing it, so it can't get stick drift. So my point with the controllers, I prefer the way the Xbox controller fits in my hands. The PS controller has felt very strange in my hand ever since the PS3. It's just weird. I powered through because of MGS4. My one problem with the Xbox controller is this. Can you hear that? I don't like the clickety-clack. I don't like the clicking. I hate it.
Oh, I love it.
I absolutely hate it.
The D-pad,
no, it was both. It's the D-pad, it's the buttons. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. On PlayStation, I don't have the PS5 right now, but it's not here right now. But when you press the buttons, you don't hear all this. The person in the next room doesn't know you're playing video games, and I like to play like these action adventure games, so you have to bash a lot of I play a lot of Yakuza, so you bash a lot of this when you're fighting, and it's just click. Sometimes when I'm grinding on Yakuza and I'm listening to my podcast, I have to put my headphones on blast because I don't want to be hearing all of this. I need this clickety clack to go. That's my whole take on the controllers. Stop with the clicking. Stop it. Next. Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
Just need to interject. There's something popped up in the chat from Mr. Inferno. Claiming I'm allergic to Xbox. I'm not allergic to Xbox.
Yeah, he's just joking.
What? Did he say that? Oh, goodness.
I'm allergic to Xbox.
No, he's just knows greatness.
Do we have to get you an EpiPen every time we talk about...
He just knows greatness.
Right in the heart.
Stop shaming people for greatness.
When I was at university, when I was at uni, the share house that I was involved in, two English guys in there, they had an Xbox 360, and when they'd first come out, an Xbox 360, and they had FIFA, and that was it. Because two English people in that house, that's all we ever played was FIFA. I've put in hundreds of hours playing FIFA on an Xbox.
And you will find.
And so I
didn't end up in hospital.
Fine. It's no drama. See, my hands aren't green. I'm not swollen up. I'm not scarred from it. So.
Oh man,
you know,
David
turned on his PS3 to correct his eyes because they were hurting him a little bit. He had to get some
PS3
quality.
We're gonna have to test this.
Controllers had the PS3 controllers had the same clicking problem as what the Xbox controllers have got. Because when not long after my wife and I got married, I'd put the PS3 in our bedroom, and I'd be playing games at night time, and she used to get the shits with me big time because all she could hear was click,
Yes.
click, 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 click. It was in the PS4 controllers when they fixed that problem, and I wish Xbox would do it because it drives me nuts.
What the hell is this? What is this? Ah!
It's almost like a
Anyways.
keyboard.
Calm down.
Anyway,
Bring it back,
Mr.
bring it back.
Inferno, next year or the year after, me and Ham are gonna go to Australia with one of these, and we're gonna put them in David's hand to test out the
they're
theory.
trying to.
We're
Don't,
gonna have to figure out.
You can't murder people.
Obviously, we're gonna have to.
they're
We're gonna
allergic.
have to power it up because we can't give it without a battery. We're gonna have to power it up and plug in a Series X and just put it in his hand and see what happens.
Stop!
I will
You
have my
can't- You
hazmat
can't
suits.
taint his hands with a console for the filthy pores.
David, you're gonna have to sign a
He's gonna-
disclaimer. If you end up dead or something, we're not gonna be responsible.
He's gonna go zombie mode as soon as you give him the Xbox. You're just gonna turn it on, and then he.
Oh man! Oh man! Oh man!
You guys are terrible.
Alright. Let's keep it moving. What's happening? Oh my goodness!
The cat came in to check on me to make sure I was okay because she heard we were talking about Xbox.
Because you kept saying Xbox. It's like what?
Yeah.
Something is wrong in the other room. We need to
When I
go
was
check
having
on
a
this
heart
too.
attack. Yeah.
That's what if you're kidnapped, that's what you say.
Oh goodness. Okay. Real quick. New Tales from the Borderlands. David, are you excited for this one? Did you play the previous one? That's 2 questions.
No. Previous one, the previous Tales from the Borderlands or any Borderlands game?
No, the previous Tales from Borderlands made by Telltale
no.
Games.
No, I
Okay.
haven't played that one. It looks
Are you excited for this one that's coming up, the new one?
not really. I'm not. So not really. We got that many different games. It hasn't grabbed me and said you must play me. It's sort of not really interested me. I feel like they've dulled down the art style. I really like the art style of the Borderlands games, but Tales of the Borderlands seems like they've taken away that edgy look. It hasn't really grabbed me, this one. Sorry.
All right, Cozy.
Oh,
Tales from the Borderlands.
yes, actually. I honestly think Tales. It's my favorite Tales game. Like the
Telltale's games.
yeah. So I'm excited to see more from them because I think it was better than any of the other ones that I played. Well, I didn't actually play it, but I watched someone play all the way through it. Because, if you watch someone play all the way through it, why would you play a Telltale game yourself? But anyway.
I can't believe you just said that, but okay.
If I watch someone
Okay.
play through a game that's essentially a point-and-click adventure, I'm not playing it myself.
Huh. Okay.
But it was, of the ones I've watched them complete, because the only one I played myself was the Walking Dead ones, and I didn't really enjoy those that much.
Wait.
I didn't, I know it's unpopular opinion, I didn't enjoy it.
You played the first Walking Dead game and you didn't like it.
You're the reason why they they nearly shut the whole thing down at Telltale, aren't you? You didn't support the game, and that
Might as well. She might. Oh my God. Ham,
Sorry.
just go ahead. Tell
Sorry.
us. Are you feeling this game? Jesus, man.
It's nowhere near a day one purchase for me at all, but it is
You played the
something I
previous
would
one.
like. But it is something that I would like to try to get into. I'm not big into Telltale games. I played some of the Walking Dead, but I will say that what I've played of The Walking Dead was fantastic. I did not see the kind of goriness coming in that game because I was like, style, the art style makes it feel like it's gonna be somewhat kind, and then when it's not kind at all, in fact, it is horrible at times.
Yeah.
Like the farm
Horrible.
part, that farm part. Oh my
man.
God. that farm part was awful. So so yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed what I had so far in the in that Telltale's game. But as for the Borderlands one, I haven't played the early one, which I actually own. I just haven't played it. The new one, I kind of agree a little bit with David, how like the aesthetic of it kind of dials into maybe a little bit of too much today's kind of look, or kind of,
that's interesting.
Or it kind of gives you like that. I hate throwing
this
game out there, but it gives you that Fortnite kind of feel.
Oh yeah,
and that is not the powerful, disrespectful look that I like from Borderlands. Borderlands was a game that was like, you know, she might have like some wild hair or whatnot, but she covered in tattoos, and she had some crazy, like, you know, I don't give you like F you pay me kind of attitude. Where in this one, it came off more of a soft tone. And I'm not sure if I love that, but I will tell you that I think I would much more enjoy that story than Tiny Tina's. Because Tiny Tina's story to me sucked.
That was very upsetting. That game was very upsetting.
Was it really that bad?
Let us not go down that road.
For me. It just wasn't for me. Just for the fact, and I'm just gonna briefly say this, just for the fact that you were in a board game, I just couldn't like I was thinking maybe it'd be kind of cool, but after running around on the board game and then there's a Cheeto in your way and you gotta fight through, and I was just like, this is just too goofy for me. Like, it's just not that rough neck feeling, and I feel like I've been chasing Handsome Jack ever since I beat him.
I think that's the problem. That is a huge problem because
he was
not only was Borderlands 2 was just like so here that it's hard for anything else to follow up. Just like even the DLCs and everything about it was just so good. It was just like such a great package that it's hard to follow up that level of like package with anything else. And I think a lot of fans will be like, yeah, we're still chasing that high.
That's why, in my opinion, Kojima is an icon, because this guy has maintained this like super high level every single game.
I don't like
any. He's weathered the storms. I mean, whether you love him or hate him, he's weathered the storm well throughout.
I wouldn't hate him. It's just like if I see his name attached to something, I'll know like to steer clear of it.
It is fine, Cozy. It is fine. It is fine.
Well, inside Luke's head, it is not fine.
I love. Listen, I love Telltale games. I've completed most of them, and I really loved Tales from the Borderlands. So much I even got a couple of their songs in my playlist. This one is a hard no for me. I'm skipping the hell out of this game. I'm very good at detecting cuck. I'm telling you. New Tales from the Borderlands.
Good.
Bite me, man. I'm telling you. This one, same thing as Redfall. There's a bunch of cuck. Okay? This is gonna be rubbish. Let's move on. Sonic Frontiers.
You guys in the chat, I hope you guys have your own opinions on this stuff, and y'all ain't listening too much to Loke, because this is the same guy.
God.
All they have there is bad opinions.
Go ahead, Dave. Say something. You want to say something?
Madden.
Oh, fuck off. I hopped up the career mode in Madden. Shut up.
Yeah,
go ahead, Dave. Go ahead, Dave.
That's what I'm talking about.
Go ahead, Dave.
Just on a slight tangent, not excited for that Borderlands game from Telltale, but I am excited.
It's not even from Telltale. That's another red flag for you. It's not even from Telltale. Yeah. It's from Gearbox.
You've lost my train of thought. What I am excited for is that they are actually showing that style of game though at these events, rather than the last couple of events have always been, it's got to be a big first person shooter, or it's got to be a big narrative driven third person.
Yeah. These games are interesting. Yeah, you're right.
It's got to be something neat. Right. They're actually finally going out into the fringes with a lot of these games. Not that it's not for me, but it's clearly for, Cozy's quite excited about it. So when they broaden out to cater for a wider group to get the viewership, what's happening is it's dropping down the excitement levels for everybody, because everybody's getting one or two, and it's not this is an excellent show for first person shooters and everybody else misses out. And that's where I think we're going to struggle you'll get a lot of variety in this conversation, but as we go through each game, you'll find there's one here, there's one there, there's one here, there's one there. And then I suppose that's just to consider it at that perspective, is as the broader they try to reach, the less excitement is going to be across the board.
I agree.
That's a fair point. Because
I wouldn't have watched these shows before, because I don't like typically the big AAA games.
He really doesn't.
And on that note, Sonic Frontiers extended gameplay. I don't know if anyone in the chat actually saw the video that I shared, or if you guys actually watched the extended gameplay. Dave, what did you think about also, but before you go in, interesting point. Sonic Frontiers is launching on the same day as God of War Ragnarok. So while everyone else is running away from Kratos, Sonic is like, bring it on. Go ahead, Dave. What do you think about Sonic Frontiers extended gameplay?
My son, he can't wait. He's super excited. I'm not fussed. I grew up, as I said, my first console was the Mega Drive 2, and I had the original Sonic games. The side scroller, fast action, big bright neon lights. That's to me, that's Sonic, and it always will be. The modern notion of we've got to move everything open world. I don't think that, for me, that's not an environment that I see Sonic naturally in. It just takes away a few different elements of what makes him Sonic. But my son is absolutely excited for it. He's asking me every day, when can I get it? When can I get it? You got to wait till November, son, and then you and I are going to have a conversation about why we're not buying that and we're buying God of War. But I don't think it's going to be. Look, no, God of War is not everyone's cup of tea, and the amount of games that have just deserted November as soon as they found out when God of War was going to launch, everyone's going, shit, we got to get out of here, we're going to get smashed. Sonic's not even close to being in the same genre as God of War, so I don't think it's a ridiculous move. I think it's, Sega's got a decent pair of stones on them if they're going to do it on the same day, but launching in the same week or around the same week as God of War is not going to be
same month
too bad. In the same month. So if they're within a couple of weeks, or even within the same week, a couple of days, I don't think it'll make a massive impact. That game's going to sell huge units because it's across multiple platforms, and kids are excited for it. And that's the target market. Whereas God of War, the target is us, the more mature player who just wants to continue that story. So yeah, I reckon they're gonna make bank on it.
So what do you think about the gameplay, though?
God of War.
That's
the gameplay. Not for me. As I say, my son's super excited because he run around in open world and all that sort of stuff, and it's Sonic and there's characters and it's bright and colourful, and I see the appeal, but it's just not for me. But it's going to end up in the house because the young fella wants it.
Cozy. Sonic Frontiers extended gameplay.
Yeah, I'm actually, Sonic is one of those things where, it's more disappointment than enjoyment. But this one looks like it'll be finally be the one. I'm still chasing, the high from some of the
Sonic
older
2.
games. But yeah, it's sort of like, I feel like this will be the one. Like, I'm excited. This is like, the exact kind of game that I play,
All right. Hamothy, Sonic Frontiers extended gameplay.
I'm ready.
Let's
go. I think this game looks good. I don't think it looks like...
How long are you holding on to that one? Jesus.
Oh, man. Maybe 60 seconds, I guess.
You're about to shed a tear.
Oh, man.
Your face, man.
He's crying.
Because of
Right?
Sonic? For real?
Look at his Sonic tears.
Yeah.
He's like, it's so beautiful. I waited all my life for this.
Let me wipe
Bro,
away
you
it,
see,
I
he's
guess.
wistfully looking up like, oh, yes. Pour it all on me. So much
Okay.
blue.
Oh my goodness.
Sir.
What the hell are you talking about?
Sir.
Because when you say sir, I just feel like I need to go see HR. What the fuck? Go ahead, Em. Go ahead, Em.
No, man. So I was a little uncertain when I first seen this Sonic game a little while ago. I was a little nervous with like the way the speed would feel with the character, also with how many enemies would be around, and it just kind of looked a little dead to me at first, just within the environment. But after I got done watching this last like trailer or gameplay or whatever that they had on the show, I actually got my hype back up for it. I'm pretty excited to play it. I want to see. I mean, when I was a little kid, I mean, all these people say, "Oh, I remember Sonic," or "I like Sonic the way it was," or whatnot. But I remember when I was a little kid, and I had, you know, Sonic 1 and 2 and all that stuff, Sonic Knuckles and all that stuff. When I got Sonic 3D, I remember being extremely let down. Right?
Oh.
Because Sonic 3D, I was just like, finally, I got, you know, it's gonna be some sort of like third person Sonic, and it ended up being like top down Sonic, and it wasn't that great in my opinion. But then later on down the road, years later, Sonic Adventure came out, and I was like, man, this game is fantastic. I really like Sonic Adventure. Sonic Adventure 2 came out, and then Battle, you know, went to the GameCube, and I thought those games were dope. But the problem I had with those is, I mean, hey, we didn't have any right stick to move with. You had to use the triggers to control the camera. If you remember playing the Dreamcast version of Sonic Adventure, you use L and R to turn the camera, and it was slow and irritating. I know there's been another Sonic game that came out further in the future that was somewhat open and whatnot, but I feel like this is their way of saying this is proper Sonic open world, and that makes and for that reason I'm excited for it. I want to get behind it, and I'm hoping that it's less like cluttery feeling than Adventure was, because Adventure, it felt like once you got enough speed, you had to bend a corner and it stopped everything.
Yeah. All right.
Couldn't get a flow. Well, you couldn't get a flow in Adventure. I hated it. I absolutely hated it.
All right. Well, Sonic Frontiers.
They're talking.
Kratos,
we got a Jaddy
Kratos is in trouble. Kratos is on the ropes, ladies and gents. He's on the ropes.
Oh my god.
He can't take.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Oh man, but I agree with Dave. It's two completely different demographics, and I hope they do what Doom and Animal Crossing did. Try and do something together. I think that would be cute. Okay, Lies of P gameplay. Dave, tell us why this is mid.
You've been neglecting chat.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Ham. Go ahead.
Yeah, before Dave hops in and says it's just Bloodborne on Xbox.
On Game Pass. So it's shit because it's on Game Pass.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't think he's gonna be that
messy. Words in my mouth again.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be that messy. But Lies of P, to me, I'm excited about.
No, go to the chat. Go to the chat for a minute.
Oh, go to the chat. Yeah, sure. So So as for the chat, I think I'm gonna say this name. Blackcade, what's up? Or Black Cardi or whatnot. I'm hoping it's Blackcade, because that's what I think it is. But anyways, what's up? He says what's up. Okay, it's Black Card. Thank you. All right. What's up, bro? Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate you. Mr. Inferno calls Cozy Beluga bougie. because she clearly is. She clearly
With her
is.
cabbage.
You've been calling
With
her,
her cabbage.
been calling her bougie for about the last 20 minutes.
What?
For real?
Bougie?
Oh, I'm gonna start calling cozy bougie from now on. You're
I
not
don't
cozy
actually like the
anymore.
term bougie because bougie is like for people that think that they're like, oh look, I got something a little bit of fancy, and now I think I'm
Yes.
someone. That's bougie.
That defines
people.
you
I'm
to
not
a
bougie.
T, cozy.
I'm not
That
because
fits.
I don't put on airs. Like bougie are people that wear labels and stuff like that. And like, look at me, I'm wearing labels. I'm fancy. I don't do that.
Real Housewives.
Oh
Do
my
what I do.
goodness.
That's
And
beneath
then-
me. Oh,
Go ahead,
and then Mr. Inferno says cozy the bougie.
Oh,
And
oh
then,
yeah, she boozy. Bougie.
Matt Likes Games says Sonic is Sonic's ready to mess up to mess up Kratos.
No, did he say? Oh, Sonic clapping them
Yeah,
cheeks,
yeah,
man.
Yeah, he's going.
He
wild
clapping
with
them
that
cheeks.
one. Yeah,
Someone-
he's lost his damn mind. And then let's see. Nelson Gaiman says, "I hope Netflix finishes Witcher before they go under." And I think somebody actually said something about a show, Resident Evil, getting canceled from Netflix.
Canceled.
wasn't it
Yeah.
bad?
Tragic.
Did you watch the show though?
Oh, I didn't. I'm not into Resident Evil like that though.
Cozy, did you watch the show?
Resident Evil?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for
Guys,
a good one. I assume it's trash.
As soon as I saw Wesker, and I love the actor that plays Wesker. I loved him in Fringe, in the game
Dollar
on
Store
Xbox. What's it
Blade?
called? The story, the
Destiny?
time game.
No.
The game where you control time. I'm forgetting it. Where you go back in time. I'm forgetting the name.
Quantum,
Point is, I love the dude. Yes, Quantum Break.
that game.
I love the dude, and then when I saw him as Wesker, I was like, oh, it's one of those shows.
Yeah.
So no, I'm good. Diversity for diversity's
Yeah.
sake
The only good
it
thing
never
about that-
yields positive results. You need to start with a good show, and then you can work from there. But if your foundation is how many black people can we cram in here? I'm out. Okay.
Oh my god.
What?
Oh my god.
What?
All right. So
What's happening in the chat?
Daddy
I'm
Jim.
continuing on.
Yeah?
Mr. Inferno is making fun of me for
Saying what?
some Sonic tears. Saying Sonic tears or whatnot. So
You were
told you
crying,
you're emotional.
Sonic.
I
It's
told
okay
you.
to cry.
You lost it. You lost it for like 3 seconds. Your mask of composure.
It's okay to cry, Ham.
It's okay, dude. It's okay. It's okay to like things. Oh my goodness. Whatever.
it's just so
Carry on in the chat. Oh, damn. You should get an Oscar. You should get an Oscar. That is better. That is better than Will Smith's apology. Well done. Well done, bro.
Maybe you can get a Netflix show and then get cancelled.
Oh, damn. We could probably
Okay.
get a Netflix show. Seriously, if I fix my background, right, we could probably get a Netflix show. I'm just saying,
my
their standards are
goodness.
very low. And in terms of meeting the quota of black people, in terms of look, Ham, let's be serious. In terms of meeting the quota of black people, I mean, come on, y'all. We would be like trending on Netflix, and we have a
away from
woman
that.
as well, so that'd be awesome.
I'm staying away
We
from
wouldn't
that.
be-
I'm not getting
We
anywhere
wouldn't be
near
able
that.
to invite. We wouldn't be able to invite guests like David, obviously, because he would fuck up our metrics.
No.
So
Oh my god, what is happening right now?
Netflix always has the one person.
He's not diverse. I mean, come on.
Netflix always has the one person.
The man,
Actually, I think-
the man is the wrong color. He's the wrong sex. I mean, it's just all over the place.
he's,
He's probably straight. If he's straight, that's even worse. No. If as soon as we get our Netflix contract, I'm checking our guest list. All these straight white people are out. Everybody's out.
Yeah, man, you got David
I'm
looking
not
at his
touching
cat
it.
like.
I'm not touching it.
If you let it in.
I'm not touching it, man.
Bro is on no comment. No comment.
No.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm sorry. But it is the reality of the atmosphere that we live in right now.
Yeah.
So I guess
Sorry.
as a protected species, I have the right to say this. Go ahead,
All right,
finish the chat.
let me finish these chats. All right. And then,
Finish them off. That's what she said.
Daddy Jim comes through and says, "Shout out to Ham and the rest of the panel."
What up? Jim what? Jim Sterling? Jim what?
No, you know who Daddy Jim is.
Big JR.
He's the one.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah. He's
Carry
the
on.
one that
just keep
the
going.
prices overseas.
Oh Christ! I don't know what he's talking about. I know what he's talking about. Ham. I know what he's talking about.
All right, and then let's see. Stank Moss says Sonic 3 was he, especially with the Sonic and Knuckles hookup. Absolutely, that flip down on the Sonic and Knuckles was fire, man. That was good. And I need to cop that game so I can continue to make my tower more powerful. Right?
What tower?
So, the Sega CD Genesis 32X.
You have a GameCube as well?
Right here. Yeah, the GameCube's down here with the Xbox.
Man.
PlayStation is on this shelf. You can't see it though. The PlayStation
Check this,
2.
dude.
But anyways,
Your electricity bill, man. Jeez.
I don't turn them all on at the same time.
Wait, does it cost you that much for your electricity?
No.
What, for me?
So like run a game.
Oh my god.
Run that
anyways.
Game system.
Anyways.
I wouldn't think it costs that much.
Let's see, and that's pretty much it for the chat right now.
All right. Lies of P gameplay. Dave, tell us why this is Dollar Store Bloodborne.
Yeah, disrespected, Dave.
I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. There's stuff in there that's almost a direct. It's some stuff in there that you almost swear if you took.
Keep it together.
There's elements in that which is almost a direct rip from Bloodborne. But there's other stuff in there that you can say, well, is there enough there to make
problem
it
for you?
Looks all right. Seems to play like a Soulsborne game. It's going to scratch that itch for everybody who's been screaming for Bloodborne at 60 frames per second. So it's got some creds of potential there to do well. The story of Pinocchio. We could have come up with something a bit better, but it looks fine. But again, it's. I don't want to say the characters look vanilla, but then it doesn't pop.
I feel you there. They do kind of look a little bland, but like I mean, the fidelity of the game is nice, right? But the characters look really flat.
Yeah, the what we got to see doesn't really show us what the story's depth is. It was more of I suppose for me, it was more of a snippet of this is Lies of P, this is the premise, this is some of the characters, this is a bit of how the game will play, have fun. I really hope they show more of that when they get closer to launching it, because it certainly is warranted, but it looks like most of the other recent Soulsborne style games, and as I said, the characters look a bit vanilla, look flat. And like they've just gone and sort of grabbed them from the here's the character, make it part of the game, just chuck some hair on here and chuck some skin tone there and make his eyes this color and off you go. I just didn't really jump out and go, here's some mystery or here's some intrigue or grab you by the scruff of the neck and go, you have got to play me before everything else. Which I think people will enjoy it. I just don't. I think they need to show more of it before they get to launch to really make it successful.
Before we move on to the other panelists, will you be getting The Last of Us Part 1 remake or remaster? on the PS5 that's coming out next week.
It's a remake, yeah.
I at this stage I don't have any plans to buy it until it's on sale for like $20.
Damn.
I've played that. I've played the game. Look, in terms of
Loke trying to get. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Loke trying to get his bet
No, he's
right.
trying to be messy.
He's trying to get his bet right now.
He's trying to be messy. Do not fall for it. He's trying to be messy.
On the line right now between me and Loke and The Last of Us. So what you're saying right now is hurting him more than it looks.
No, it's not. No, it is not.
But continue, Dave. Continue. I apologize.
I've got a particular buying habits. And I could, talk for hours on it. My particular purchasing habits, and the amount of time that I actually have to do gaming, as I said before, is quite limited. So I'm not like, if I went and bought it next week when it launches, it's going to be the better part of a month before I actually get a chance to get into it. And I am excited to see what they've done in terms of the graphical upgrade and all the gameplay upgrade and all that, because it's going to play very different to the original PS3 version, even the remastered PS4 version. But I don't need to go through that story again, and in a hurry. I've got a 10-year-old son, and that one was tough for me the first go round. And most other fathers that I speak to that have got young kids, they really struggle to get past the start of that game. For those of us who really get invested in the stories, that is a tough one to do. And I'm in a hurry to see what it's like, but I'm not in a hurry to do that again, even though I know it's coming. And that's the credit to the story writers. But in terms of buying it next week, no. 6 to 12 months. When it gets a bit cheaper, yeah. But again,
when it eventually goes to PlayStation Plus Premium or Extra.
Possibly.
It's definitely going there. It's just when.
Well, it's one of those things. By the time it ends up on PS Plus, it is likely going to end up on PC anyway. So it might be one where I pick it up on PC and get it there. I don't know. I'm not sure yet, but it's certainly not what I'm buying next week. Sorry.
All right. Cozy, Liza P.
Yeah, he's saying sorry to you.
What did you think?
He's saying sorry to you.
Whatever.
I actually agree with I agree with Dave about the style. So the game, actually, the gameplay looks interesting. But it's like I said, not a game that I would immediately play. Not just for the style. It reminds me of this is an awful thing to say, Greedfall. I think that's the name of the game.
Ooh, yes.
Where
Midfall.
it was just like it was good-ish. It wasn't a bad game. There was nothing bad about it, but there was nothing.
AA game.
There was not. No, it wasn't that it was AA. It was there was nothing so special and stylistically or anything about it that made me like, wow. And that could have elevated it, and that style thing could have elevated it from being just like, okay, to being actually more engaging. Because I found myself trying to figure out what about this game I was not particularly enjoying. And it's not like I even hated it. That's the problem. It's like, when a game's so mediocre that you just you just can't even muster a feeling about it. Like, I kept forgetting that I was even picking it up. And I think stylistically, Lies of P kind of reminds me of that. I kind of wish if they went for like a Pinocchio theme, they had done something like maybe a little more colorful, bright. Like, kind of like subvert the thing where they did something colorful and bright, but still had those same themes. I think that's something, you don't see people do. Or
I think, just to touch on that, I think they missed the trick where they could have really played up on him being a wooden boy. It did not come across to me that was Pinocchio, that was a wooden boy that was been animated, like a puppet that had been animated. It was just, here's another character, his name's Pinocchio.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a mechanic to do with his nose. Ham, go ahead.
I'm interested for this game, but I'm not sure if I'm interested in it because the game is going to be good, or if it's just that it's going to be something new for me to play in Game Pass. I'm not sure which one of those have me more excited, to be honest about that.
But Game Pass, I'm sorry to cut you off, Game Pass is getting to the point where just because it's new doesn't mean you're going to jump into it.
Right.
Because there's so many games. Like, it's not even okay, it is still fun, but it's still a bit intimidating, especially for people that don't have that much time. I've had complaints like from my brothers because they're also on Xbox, and they were like, dude, sometimes I jump on Game Pass after I finish the game and I'm like, okay, what am I going to play next? And they're like, it felt like I was on Netflix. I would scroll for an hour, just scrolling. Next thing I know, I don't have any time. I'm going to bed.
Right.
Oh, you can go. The guests can go.
So,
Go ahead, David.
No, ladies first. Ladies first.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Oh, gentlemen.
See? Yeah, you too. Take notes. Thank you. I was gonna say.
What are you talking about? Some of
It's
you
my
guys
turn
get
to talk
offended
now,
when a
Cozy,
guy
shut
says
up.
ladies first.
It
What the
could
hell?
have
I'm
used
a
the
man
same
playing my way back in the first.
Xbox PC. the way the Game Pass on PC has this feature where you can pick like what to play next. They need to do more with that feature where you can plug in like, here are games I like, and it'll like give you suggestions for that are tailored to
That's
you.
that on console as well.
What? No, it
Tells
doesn't have
you-
it doesn't have the roll of the dice. It's like there's a roll of dice on PC that you can.
It does
Yeah,
on the
there's a
console. You
surprise
just have to
button.
scroll at the bottom. Yeah, it does. It does.
They
It does.
put that in?
Everything that's on PC is on the. Yeah, it's all there.
It didn't used to be there.
Okay, but
I'm
now
pretty
it
sure it's
is.
been there for a while.
Yeah, I've seen it for a minute. I've seen it for a minute.
But anyways, going back to what I was saying about the game.
Lies of P.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm super hyped on it because it's a new game or if it's because it's going to Game Pass. I'm leaning more towards probably because it's going on to Game Pass is why I'm kind of excited for it. But looking wise at the game, like the way that I thought, like my reaction from seeing Lies of P is I felt like the trailer was a little too stoic for me to really get into what they were trying to show me. Like, I don't know. I just wish I would have seen, or I guess I just want to see more gameplay. Just like David said, I need to see a little bit more on this game before I'm like anywhere to the point of I can't wait to play. Right now, I'm just like minorly hyped because, like I said, it has that tie with Game Pass, and I don't have to immediately throw my money into the barrel when this game comes out. I get to flat out try it out, see if it's something that I like before I decide where my dollar lies. But
guys, we are running out of time. So for the remaining games, I'm just gonna pick each game. One member of the panel will give their take, and then we'll move on. It's like, first off, to the chat, I'm sorry, it's been such a jam-packed week. We're not going to have quiz time this week. It's just not possible.
We
cannot be here for 4 hours.
Time for quiz.
Yes, David is coming back, so don't worry.
Yay.
The poet is gonna get his chance. So Dave, high on life gameplay. Did that impress you or wow you?
Me personally, no. But that's not to say it doesn't have any credentials. I actually think that of all the games that got shown, I think that's the one that's going to do the best in Game Pass. I think that's the one that they need to really push. It's got that appeal to the younger audience. It's got that appeal to the kids, the 10 to 14-year-olds, to get in, and it's bright, colourful gameplay and all that. It sort of felt like someone's trying to take what makes Ratchet and Clank appealing and a couple of bits of it and try and recreate something in a different manner. In terms of, it's got some fast pace, it's got big colourful bits and pieces, but I think that one's a sleeper hit for Game Pass personally. But
what? Dave, you
for me.
complimented a game that's going to Game Pass day one? The sky is gonna fall, ladies and gentlemen. It is over. The world is over. Today is Armageddon.
The cat just walked back into the room too.
Checking in on you. Okay. Ham Solo, Warhammer Dark Tide. How many hours are me and you gonna put in on this one co-op?
Hopefully more than the last one. I don't feel like we played very much of that at all.
Yeah, that one was. Yeah.
So that's another game that I'm gonna give it the same energy I gave that I gave Hogwarts. It got delayed. They showed it. My excitement wasn't there. My excitement was just like, it was just gone. It's not from what I hear, it's not delayed for PC. It's just delayed for console as of right now. So
yes.
So if I want to hop on it with my PC, that's cool and all, but more than likely it'll just be me playing or me and Matt, but I'd rather it be on console. So me, you, this, that, and a third can jump in and play, because I mean, I just don't play that much multiplayer, if any, really, other than Halo on my PC.
It's a good game.
Honestly, because of my PlayStation history, multiplayer is not really my thing, on average. Cozy, Dead Island 2 coming February 3rd.
Why do you keep asking me games I'm not playing?
It just so happened that this is, oh god.
You did that on purpose.
Fine. Okay, the last one. What did you think?
Answer.
Okay, the last one. Oh shit! Man, I swear I didn't do this on purpose, guys. But okay, the last one, Cozy. Will you be listening to Kojima's podcast starting September 8th on Spotify?
I'm gonna fight you. I am literally going to fight you.
That's an even worse.
I am literally going to fight you.
Oh, Cozy. Do not destroy the stereotype that women are not violent. Don't do that. Okay. Next, we're done with Gamescom for now. We're done. Next, we have the big one, ladies and gentlemen. PlayStation 5 prices increase in select markets due to global economic environment, including high inflation rate. I wanted to go to Game Rant, VGC, and all these other places, but I decided I was like, screw it. Let's go to the official PlayStation blog. So what I'm about to tell you what PlayStation themselves said. All right. Jim Ryan himself signed off on this one. And I quote, PS5 price to increase in select markets due to global economic environment, including high inflation rates. The global economic environment is a challenge that many of you around the world are no doubt experiencing. No shit, Sherlock. We're seeing high global inflation rates as well as adverse currency trends impacting consumers and creating pressure on many industries. Based on these challenging economic conditions, SIE has made the difficult decision to increase the recommended retail price for PS5 in select markets across Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Before I continue reading, I would like to say something to PlayStation. If you're going to increase the price, right, to Africa, can you at least acknowledge that we exist? Can we have an app that works on the continent? Huh? Can we put in our credit card details and have that shit work without us having to go to third-party sites and risk our banking detail? Can we do that, Sony? Huh? Don't just increase the fucking price. Thank you. Carrying on the article. They're going to increase in select markets across Europe, Middle East, and Africa, Asia Pacific, Latin America, as well as Canada. There will be no price increases in the United States. For real, the motherfuckers with the most
to be an American. Where at least I know I'm free.
No increases. What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? PlayStation at this point might as well be a fucking government. They tax the people with no money and the people with money. Oh, y'all are cool. Keep it moving, y'all. Enjoy yourselves. What the fuck?
Put your hat back on, Logue.
No. I'm speaking as an African right now, not a fucking Texan. I'm not feeling this shit. Feeling it.
Sing it with me, Logue. Sing it. Sing it with me.
Fuck up, man.
See, you love it?
Shut up. So shut up, man. Just shut up. Carrying on. Here are the following prices that were presented to us by the the PS blog. Europe, PS5 with Ultra HD RAID disc is now 550 euros. The digital edition is 500 euros. UK 480 pounds for the disc version. Digital 390 pounds. I'm skipping Japan. I'm skipping China. Australia. This one's for you, David. This one's for you. It's now 800 Australian dollars for the disc version. Digital is $650. Mexico. Disc is 15,000 Mexican pesos, I'm guessing. Digital is 12,500 pesos. While this price increase is a necessity given the current global economic environment and its impact on SIE's business, our top priority continues to be improving the PS5 supply situation to scalpers, so that as many scalpers, not players, as possible can experience everything that PS5 offers and what's still to come. David, please defend almighty PlayStation. Because I ain't doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Go ahead. Go ahead,
I can tell you, I can explain the reasons why they've done it, but that's not me defending it. Everyone seems to think that when you give reasons for something, they straight away say, "Oh, you're defending it."
That's not.
I'm not. I'll put it this way.
I mean, when you explain why a rapist raped someone, you're not saying that he had the right to do it. You're just saying that's why they did it.
And it definitely doesn't mean that it's right.
Look at Cozy. She look how
Cozy is freaking out.
There were a lot saner. There were a lot saner examples you could have gone to.
No. I'm trying to get that reaction from you, Cozy. I'm trying to get that reaction for you because you're too chilled. You're too chilled because it's not affecting you. This is not affecting your market, so this is fine. This is fine. Go ahead, David. Go ahead.
I'll explain. First of all, I'll explain why it's not affecting the US market. As the Japanese yen is deteriorating against the US dollar because of the inflation that's going on across the world, the US dollar is basically the floating underpinning currency for most floating currencies in the world. The yen's deteriorating against the dollar. So what that means on the revenue side of the equation is, without having anything else change except the foreign exchange rate, as the yen deteriorates against the dollar, PlayStation makes more money. They don't need to raise prices in America. They could even do a price reduction in America and still make as much next month as they will this month. Where it affects them is every other market. As the American dollar gets stronger and it deteriorates everywhere else, they're losing ground in all the other markets. So the revenue stream that's coming through from all the other markets is getting lower and lower and lower on the foreign exchange as well. But where the impact for this price rise has occurred is even after all of the cost-cutting measures that they've employed to try and get the price of what the componentry in the PS5s down, they still have chip supply shortage issues, and all the suppliers have jacked up their prices to force PlayStation or Sony to pay more to get the same shit in those consoles. And then on top of that, because most of the manufacturing happens in China, again, with the movements in the foreign exchange, it's costing Sony 33% more just in exchange rate variances over the last 18 months, or since they launched the PS5. It's 33% more expensive straight away for them to manufacture it. The cost is increased by 1/3 just because of FX movements. Then if you say, well, they doubled the cost of some of the chip production from TSMC to get that componentry in there because of the shortage. Yes, they were selling the console at break even or a minimal profit, but the amount of work they've had to put in to get those unit prices to that point has completely deteriorated everything they've done. PlayStation can't use the old model of being a loss leader on the console and making it back up on the software sales because the software sales haven't increased enough to cover it. So the choices are, basically it comes down to increase the game price or increase the console price. And you've seen the last 18 months that they will not touch the game prices. That would be, if we were sitting here saying fucking AAA games now for $80, what the hell's going on? That's terminal. That is something you can't come back
They
from.
increased the price from 60 to 70.
Well, it's been $60 for AAA games since the start of the PS3, and they've carried that for that many years. And then we get a $10 increase on something that, and everyone can argue semantics about why is it dearer, where's the value coming from, all the rest of it. We don't see it, but they've just done the $70 increase on games, and no one is really happy about that at all. Through gritted teeth, it's happening, right? If they then went and said, "Oh, we're going to increase from 80,"
oh yeah, we're taking it. We're taking it. Sony asked us, "This is either going to happen nicely, or this is going to happen badly." But this is going to happen.
Yeah. So
spread them cheeks.
So the lesser of two evils is they do an increase on the price of the console. That doesn't have a direct impact on those that have already got it. What it does is it has an impact on those coming in. Now, it's very different economic circumstances to what the PS3 and the PS4, or even the Xbox 360 and Xbox One, when they've launched and had all that piece. It's a supply side inflation driven. We've not had a supply side inflation driven since World War One. So there's a lot of levers that get pulled to fix an inflationary problem on the demand side that they're pulling levers now that aren't having an impact. There's not too many people left in the world that understand how to fix this problem in a hurry. Mm-hmm. But what it means is, whilst the US dollar continues to get stronger and all the other currencies are deteriorating at a ridiculous pace against it, anyone that's domiciled in the US is actually having less costs. So this is helping Xbox and Microsoft make more profit because the costs are decreasing for all their offshore manufacturing. But what it does to Sony and everyone else that's located offshore is it pushes their costs up, and it pushes their costs up harder than what their revenue can go up with coming out of the US to maintain it. They have to stay, they can't be loss leading on their hardware anymore, so everything's got to increase in price. And that's Sony. Just how it is. And that's all because of the foreign exchange. Well, they can't afford to, they don't want to, and I'm not defending this. Please don't take this as a defense. This is just how the shit works in these companies. Sony doesn't want to take a loss, bite a loss. They could quite easily could end up being a $2 billion, some of the estimates I've seen are between $1.5 to $2 billion worth of additional cost over this next financial year, just because of the foreign exchange movements. That has a massive impact on their mid-range plan for all the stuff they've currently got lined up and committed to. Sony doesn't do debt financing to operate, neither does Microsoft and most other big companies. But what Sony doesn't have is the ability to just reach across, or PlayStation can't just reach across to another department and say, "Can you backfill me funding-wise for the next little bit?" PlayStation brings in over 40% of the revenue for Sony. All the Sony segments are profitable in their own right, but they're not profitable enough to prop another one up. So what they need to do is they've got to maintain that revenue stream to be able to meet those projections. Where it differs with other organizations is that Xbox isn't suffering this because they're getting the benefit side of it, and they've got Microsoft's Azure segment to backfill any of their funding pieces that they're falling short. Not saying that's good or bad or indifferent. That's their business model. They do whatever they like. Nintendo isn't doing a price increase because they're getting so much revenue out of the US at the moment. It's not affecting their bottom line profitability. Their operating profit at Nintendo has decreased nearly 20% in the last quarter financials, but the amount of money they're getting out of the sale of software in the US has actually meant that they've nearly $400 million better off than the same time last year on their revenue, just because the foreign exchange is moving
on the market. So
yeah,
forget the US, the whole planet, dude. It's Nintendo.
Yeah, pretty much, and it always will be. Like, the Nintendo's always.
Okay, so you went round and round and round. Now answer the question I said to you,
which is defend it. Man. I won't defend it. I won't defend it.
All right. That's what I wanted.
That's what I wanted. You missed Matt Likes Games reaction to Loke.
What did he say?
Oh, yeah, I mean, he said, "Jesus Christ, what was this about?" LOL.
Rewind the damn thing.
Talking about your use of examples.
My use of examples.
Yeah.
Bro, it's the only way to get a reaction. Because if you're tempered and composed, ain't nobody gonna say nothing. Now, if you put in something that's gonna fire up people's asses, you get a reaction from Cozy like, what? Did it just? It's like, yeah, bro, I just did. Now pay attention. Cozy,
Yeah.
about the PS5 price increases. How indifferent are you? Please paint us this picture of American glory that you would like to pour on us. Go ahead.
I think
Go ahead.
depending on what market it is, it can really suck or just be a minor like them's the breaks, depending on which market you're talking about for the increases.
There's no more American quote than them's the breaks. Thank you.
No,
Cozy.
what I'm saying is not as American, but like some of the markets, it's only going to be like,
that shit. As soon as my battery's on, I'm gonna write on Twitter, Cozy Beluga, responding to the PS5 thing. Them's the breaks.
These are the breaks.
It's more like so it's more like for some people in some of those places, it's going to be like more like, oh yeah, it costs a little more for me to get it, but I still want it, and it's still like these are still in demand, and like in some of those countries in some of those areas where they have such a high prevalence, it's like in most people just play on PlayStation, they're just going to buy it. That's just going to be how it is. So it's not going to be that bad for them. The only country on there that I'm like, oh, really? Is Mexico. Because people in Mexico are not really PlayStation people.
Yeah, I remember reading an IGN article. That's a good point. I remember reading an IGN article about that a couple of years ago, where I think Xbox dominates like 70 or 80%.
You ever been to a Gears looking for group? If you go to a Gears, look for group on Xbox. It's all in Spanish, and that's how I found out.
It is ridiculous the amount of Mexicans that play Xbox. That is crazy.
It's awesome.
It's for me. I think it's weird, but okay.
But yeah.
Okay, Ham, are we defending Sony?
No, not at all. I don't think there's anything.
Have a go.
Oh no, not on this one. But like I was defending it for the Hogwarts thing, because to me that was smart. To this, it may be smart, but we will see in the future, and I'm sure people will still buy it. People that love and adore PlayStation are going to buy the PlayStation, whether it's $500, $600, whatever. People that love what they love are going to get what they love at the end of the day. But the thing that I thought was irritating were those people saying, you're in America. You don't deserve to have any empathy for these people because you don't have to deal with it.
It is stupid. It is stupid.
And I think that that's bullshit. I think that that's extremely dismissive and selfish.
Yeah, that shit. I'm trying to block these people.
Some of the answers I was getting from like these spaces and stuff like that off of Twitter were people saying, you know what, like comparing like the Colin Kaepernick stuff with it and whatnot, being like, oh, people didn't care about black folks when they needed some, a lending hand or some spirit or whatnot. So why would I care about? And I'm like, dude, that is the issue with the world, is because if somebody doesn't support you directly, immediately, then you're like, screw everybody then. That's not the attitude that you want to have with this kind of stuff. If somebody's being affected by something, whether it is medical marijuana, or something like consoles, anything really, somebody's getting something for a better deal
for you to look at yourself only.
Exactly. So like, it's just like, just because it's not affecting you directly, whether you can do anything about it or not is not on the table of discussion. The discussion is this right? For Sony, yes. It may be. But for the people that are trying to, get a console, or they've been working to get a console for like the last 5 months, missed it. And now there's a price hike on something that wasn't even readily available. That sucks. I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh, I'm in America. I can go down I can hop on my PC and buy it at Best Buy for the same price. I shouldn't feel bad for you at all because you put yourself in your country. No, I'm not going to say something silly like that. Like, bro, it sucks. They may have had to do it. I think it's a little weird that they're pushing the cost onto the customer instead of eating it themselves. I feel like this could have been a really big moment of, yo, we're behind you. But instead, it's kind of like, we're having these issues worldwide, so we're going to make you pay for it. It's just kind of a weird way to go about it. Maybe needed, but it sets like whether it's needed or not, it's a bad look, period. Just is.
Hey, but
looks like David had something to say though.
Yeah. So aesthetics are horrible. No one likes price rises. It's not the first time PlayStation's done this though. They did it with the PS4s in Australia, Canada, a few other places where they've done price hikes in the past, and they've always been smallish, $10, $20, $30. It's just in this particular instance, the global economy's not really forgiving for anybody who's hiking prices, especially when there's big corporations involved.
Also, in this particular instance, Xbox is punching back.
Well, yes, they are.
Xbox One generation was come on. We can't even put them on the same level.
Yeah. Let's go back to 2013. Everybody's anti-consumer Xbox, $100 more for a less powerful console. Now the tables are turned, and everybody are like, But
that's the other side of the coin. Because of Xbox being in America, then they're actually benefiting from these current pieces. They don't have to do anything, and they're already in front, and that's playing into their hands. They don't have to come out and say, oh, you know what, instead of just not raising prices, we're actually going to make them less, because they've had the Series S and X on sale previously. What it means is Xbox doesn't have to do the sale piece anymore, so they'll actually benefit out of this. They don't have to. All they had to say was what they said. We don't have any plans to raise the pricing. Done. Stop putting everything on sale, and you'll make a bundle. Just
so now that you brought that up, let's talk about the responses. Here's the response from Nintendo. Responding to VGC's request for comment, Nintendo's UK arm reiterated President Furukawa's statement back in June that it cannot comment on pricing strategy. However, as of this moment, at least, Nintendo does not have plans to raise Switch prices in response to the increased hardware cost associated with inflation. Microsoft response is as follows. Jez Corden.
Yeah, Jez Corden.
Okay, he's American. Jez Corden.
He's not American.
No, not at all.
Right, Jez Corden of Windows Central. We know that. Okay, we know he's from Windows Central. Reached out to Microsoft about the situation, and a spokesperson confirmed that there are currently no plans to raise the Series X price. The spokesperson said that Microsoft is constantly evaluating its business for now. The Series S will remain priced at $299, while the Series X will continue to retail for $499 for the foreseeable future. I think the interesting thing from both of their responses is they're not going to commit to anything. I think Nintendo and Microsoft are just like, let's see if PlayStation gets their backs blown out. If this goes well for PlayStation, we might see a price hike for the other two. That's what I think is going to happen. They're just trying to see, okay, you jumped in the pool first. Let's see if you die or if you're fine. What do you guys think about that theory?
They've got a problem with that theory, is that because the PlayStation is still so scarce and not on shelves, that it's not going to affect their demand for ages. And as I said, they'll take it through gritted teeth. It's not going to slow down their sales of their hardware because they're supply constrained. Whereas Xbox is a different story. Their supply constraints are only on the X, not the S, and the S is where they're making a lot of their sales. and they designed, hands off to the guys who designed it. It's not bleeding edge tech, but they can make the shit and get it out there. Switch, those things are sitting on the shelves. It's easy to get one. They're not supply constrained as much as they say they are. They're not. But as I said before, there's no
sitting
need
on the shelves, but they're also flying off the shelves because Switch is consistently number one, like by a margin. It's such a big margin that people, the PlayStation supporters, pretend it doesn't exist. That's how big the margin is. It's embarrassing.
Well, when you're running second and you can't see first place, and third place you can see, you don't bother looking for first place. But
no, but is it that close between PlayStation and Xbox? I don't think it's that close.
If you believe the media, it's that close. But
listen, I don't have all the numbers, but I just tally up the NPD sales and stuff. It's not that close. It's not.
It depends on your metric. If you want to talk about straight up revenue, PlayStation's in front of Nintendo and Xbox, and Nintendo and Xbox are neck and neck for second place in that 3-horse race. If you want to talk about quality of game, that's a different story. You want to talk about value of getting into gaming, that's a different story.
Those are all subjective.
It depends on
numbers is what matters.
Depends on your metrics, all subjective. But that's what I said at the start. Each one's got their little spot in the triangle that offers that absolute point of difference. And depending on what you want in gaming, it depends on where you fit in that triangle. But
see which ones. Okay.
They don't. Well, they don't. As I said before, Nintendo doesn't need to do anything because they're making money hand over fist on the FX exchange, and Xbox doesn't need to do anything because they're on the right side of that equation. Where it's made the impact, though, is you look at Sony's mid-range plan, and they've increased everything else already. They've increased how much they charge out for their movies, their music. They've increased fucking everything. All their hardware that they make, TVs, phones, camera lenses, the works. You see the new iPhone, it's got the Sony sensors in it. That thing's going to cost a bundle because PlayStation has told them that it's going to cost them a lot more. Same with the Samsung TVs. That thing's going to cost a bundle for the new one. The only thing they hadn't touched was the PlayStation. And it was never immune. It was always going to happen. The shitty thing about it is where they've done it. If they're going to do, should have done it everywhere. But it's not going to affect their sales at all in the short to medium term. And when it does start to affect their sales, they'll just wind the price back because they expect in their forecast this should have settled down in the next 6 to 12 months.
Yeah. Also, it's for the payers, man. It's for the payers. Like, dude, it's the community. Let's be real, guys. It is the community that is willing to pay. Because, like, Ferrari
vocal people do that. I think because a lot of people who are just there to get their FIFA, their Call of Duty, their whatever the basic game. That's a lot of people that are just there for those games.
Yeah, we're talking about the console price.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. These people are willing to pay for that console because PlayStation has sold the idea that this is the Rolls Royce of video games.
Mm. And that's just how it is. And rightly, wrongly, everybody's entitled to their opinion on it.
Yeah, and although I went off on it, Ham, I'm gonna be a bit of a hypocrite now. Although I went off on the whole Sony thing, I have to be real with it, dude. Like, I only drive Land Rovers.
Really?
Yeah, like in my house, like I only drive Land Rovers.
Oh, and Mr. Moneybag.
Like even if you look at just like shock absorbers or brakes or anything to complement that specific brand, you can't even compare it to like a Toyota or whatever.
It's an arm and a leg.
So when I say like it's for the payers, I'm not even being like I'm not even memeing. I'm just being for real. The people see the value in paying for the PlayStation. Here in Moz, there's people paying $1,000 for PS. In Mozambique, people are paying $1,000 to get a PlayStation. So I hate to break it to whoever thinks that PlayStation is going or Sony is going to stop or get more responsible with this. As long as people still see value in the PlayStation brand and they keep buying these products at these crazy prices, the price is only going to keep going up. If I'm a shareholder at Sony, right, and I see the results from this is people are still buying, bro, the PlayStation might be 800 by the end of 2023.
Nah.
You see this in every market, Cozy. You see this in every market. You see this in every market. If you watch the Lamborghini documentary, Ferrari came first and they were already selling at crazy prices and the price kept going up. Lamborghini, because they wanted to compete, had a lower price. But as soon as Lamborghini started making the same sales as Ferrari, even though they had like fast cars and whatever, even though their price was low, they pumped that shit up. And now today, a Lamborghini and a Ferrari, in terms of price, it's more or less the same thing. So as long as people are willing to pay, we might have the PS6 launching retail $1,000.
I don't think so.
All right.
Hey, if this works in PlayStation's favor, I think Loke is right. You might see Xbox and Switch and stuff like that popping them prices up, because it's just like, who are you to think that you're too good to like not make that kind of money and stuff like that? Like, although I think Xbox is a more friendly when it comes to price kind of, software or hardware that you can play on right now, don't get that twisted and thinking that they're your friend. They will make a buck if they got to make a
behind.
buck.
It's just because they're behind.
Yeah, absolutely. They want to stay attractive, so they're not going to bump up the price the same time that Sony does. They're going to make them possibly make their own mess first, and if it's not a mess, they still got a lot of ground to cover before they can comfortably just follow suit with something like that. Like Xbox, I personally love it, but I'm not going to sit here and say, it is right around the corner from toppling PlayStation. It's not. It has years before you can even do anything like that.
Also, a lot of people talk about the cloud saves, that Sony charges you for cloud saves and Xbox doesn't. Dude, there's something called OneDrive, okay? The only reason Xbox doesn't charge you for cloud saves is because they're not the leader in the market. You want to see how much Microsoft loves their customers? Look at what they do when they corner the market. Look at what they've done to PC. That's what Microsoft are, and the day they become number one in video games, trust me, they're going to implement the same model in video games, and they will start charging for things like cloud save, and all that stuff. Go ahead, David.
Used to.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead, Dave.
Cozy wanted to say something before. She looked like she's going to really wind up about it. So.
Oh no! I don't remember what I was going to say. It's mostly like I think the thing is, you can't, what works for one company doesn't work for other. I think the reason it works for Sony is because Sony, at the end of the day, isn't a great, strong software and service company. That's like not what their bread and butter is. Whereas Microsoft is.
Yeah. And Microsoft's got, if you really want to see what the future holds for some of these companies, look at their financials, because that's where they give away a lot of they have to by law, they give away a lot of what their trajectory is.
Right.
Microsoft is making printing money with Azure and cloud services for business. They're $65 billion in revenue last year, or so thereabouts. It's insane, and that's them. Google doesn't even come close with what they offer, because Google doesn't offer a one-stop shop for everything to do with all businesses around the world, right? So they've got the market there, and the price rises. It's software. They're selling you software, but because they've got these massive cloud banks that they've got to service and maintain and build and all the rest of it, anytime there's physical hardware involved, they start checking the price up because it's not just a matter of it costs us labor and a few little bits and pieces. And that's where Xbox has probably got a benefit. They have all that stuff handled by another part of the segment in the company. So Xbox doesn't have to pay for all that shit. PlayStation doesn't. They've got to go and pay for all that shit. They're trying to pay for PSVR 2. They're trying to pay for cloud gaming, which they're trying to develop with AWS. They're trying to increase the size of their portfolios of studios. And they're trying to do X, Y, and Z, and they can't borrow any money to do it.
And they got to figure out how to implement it in after paying for it.
Exactly. So they've
where
got all
Microsoft
this
has those guys in-house.
Exactly. And that's right. And that's a big, and this is the only way I can explain it. The further along this track we go, the further apart these two are going to get in comparability. I mean, everyone says, oh, Game Pass and PS Plus is New Z. They're not the same. They're not even close to the same. The strategies are totally different. The costs are totally different. The way that they're implemented is totally different. PlayStation's trying to run a profitable business. Xbox, it doesn't matter if they make a profit. At the moment, they're making monstrous losses. When Activision gets in, it's going to be worse. But that's not just my opinion. There's multiple analysts that are saying the same thing, and they get paid just to look at the gaming segment. But because they make so much money in the other business segments, it doesn't matter.
It's nothing. It's like Manchester United. It's like Manchester United. You can spend 500 million. It doesn't matter if you make a profit of 5 billion. It's nothing. Exactly. That's whatever.
But that's their situation. PlayStation, as I said earlier, PlayStation makes over 40% of the total revenue for Sony, and they have to fund themselves. That's why it's always been the case with PlayStation games. They make this absolute cracker of a game, they get to make another one. If a game flops, that's it. Then they've got to go and compete and argue and carry on with multiple other games in the pipeline to try and get that funding to make the next one. You know, if you haven't got a strong case, you don't get it. And if you can't produce a strong game in-house there, you get shut down. And they've done that. They just can't carry them. And that's just a fact of the situation. Yeah, tie that all back into what we're talking about here with the console price. I ain't happy about it, but I've already got one, so it doesn't worry me. But there's people that I know that want to get one that aren't, you know, they're going to have to pay a little bit more for it. In Australia, 99% of them will just do it through gritted teeth and go, fuck it, all right, I want one, I'll pay it. I don't care. It's an extra $50, fuck it, whatever. And that's where the whole macroeconomics comes into it. The price rises are maybe 10% maximum in across the board as an average, right? I think Australia's price rise is only 6%. Some are 5, some are 10. There's been comments around Japan's copping at 20%, but they're not copping 20% because they use the old prices without the value-added tax and the new prices with the value-added tax. So, you know, Canada's another great example. But when you're talking about, in the broader scale of things, people that want them will buy them, and the extra money, they'll just go, fuck it, all right, I'll pay for it. It's like gas prices or anything else. You don't like it. Well, I shouldn't say gas prices because that's a staple. That's not necessarily a luxury.
Yeah, it's not gas prices.
Anything is considered a luxury, right? You don't like it, don't buy it. But at the moment,
why I use the car analogy. That's why I use the car analogy. Because the people that are going to buy a Land Rover, they're going to buy a Land Rover, dude.
Exactly.
But the crazy thing about this situation, though, is that it's so scarce that if you have that opportunity to get it now, you better pull the trigger, or you might not be able to find another one for months or whatnot. And that's what makes this $50 price hike not. That's personally what I think. What makes this $50 price hike not the worst thing in the world for Sony, but but by no means am I going to sit here and be like, I think that's cool or whatnot, because it literally sucks. Every person on this panel has literally said that's fucking garbage. That sucks. But at the same time, it's like, bro, like, people really want this, and if you don't hurry up and buy it, somebody else is gonna jump you in line and take that sucker.
Jump on it.
Yeah, I would like to. I'd like to offer a rebuttal on that one. I've seen a worrying. Well, not a worrying because I'm not a stakeholder, but I've seen a trend in Mars. We don't have stores like your GameSpots and Walmarts that actually sell PS5s and Xbox Series X's. What we have is like what are they called? Scalpers. So my PS5, my wife had to go to South Africa to get it. My Xbox, I went to SA to get it. They have actual stores. So what happens is I do pay attention to the trend with the scalpers because they're on Facebook and stuff like that, right? And I've noticed that they don't have Xboxes anymore. And I've asked one or two and they're like, bro, the PS we're selling, for us to make a profit, we're selling for like $1,000. The Xbox we're selling at $600. And people are buying the Xbox. So we don't have Xbox S's or X's. We only have PS's. And people are starting, here at least, I don't know about other regions, but people are starting here to look at the scalpers and be like, okay, but just give me an Xbox then. And I'm not sure how much traction this price thing is going to have, because now it was already 1,000. Now it's going to be 1,200
like
here, or something like that. By the time it gets here, to then try and sell to other people to get the profit for the scalpers, because like the scalpers at some point the scalpers here are almost like the de facto GameStops for people that can't go to South Africa. Go ahead, Dave. You want to say something?
I was just going to say, and that won't be reflected in the sales numbers because Xbox and PlayStation have already made the sale when the scalpers buy it. So what you're alluding to there is how a free market is how a market should work. They're offering at this price, people aren't buying it, so they'll buy the cheaper alternative if that's what they want. But when they've got no cheaper alternative to sell and they've got to make something, then the price will start coming down on the dearer one. And this is where I think that, yes, the demand is outstripping supply. And when that curve flips, you'll see you're likely either see a price drop or a new version that makes the current version look cheaper, because they can't afford the thing to stop selling, because that's part of their ecosystem that they need to exist. So
the issue for me, right? No, not an issue, but the observation for me is this will give the opportunity for Microsoft to make their pitch to people. Do you understand? People that have been on PlayStation forever. Now they're gonna get an Xbox, and they're gonna get Microsoft to come into their homes and be like, we're giving you our version of what gaming is. And this might have long-term ramifications, the same way the PS5 is selling like hotcakes because of the foundation placed by the PS4, which also sold like hotcakes because of the foundation of the PS3. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, it's ongoing legacy. Yeah, I think, and Cozy might be able to speak a little bit more to this. I suppose to a degree.
What?
When you Xbox has got its opportunity to pitch hard. The problem that they have is, what are they pitching with? PlayStation's are going to have a showcase shortly, an SOP or something. God of War shows
they're
up.
pushing accessibility. That's what they push.
Yeah, that's the pitch. But how do you get a game off PlayStation and on the Xbox when the expectation is we want to play quality games? I shouldn't say quality games, but we want to be able to play these particular types of games. What have you got to offer us that's new? Or what have you got coming that's offering us? And if the accessibility is the main pitch, I don't think that's going to shift them as hard as what they would expect. What I do think, though, is not the Xbox console is the pitch, but Xbox Game Pass on PC. There's a lot of PlayStation gamers who've got a PC, and that would be the zone where I think Xbox should make the big play towards the PlayStation gamers.
It's more than that. It's sort of like there are, like, I think you're looking at, like, PlayStation games are like not like Nintendo games. They're not selling, you know, those Nintendo, like everyone buys it for. Most people are not buying Nintendo games for that. So when you're giving people who are just like, I just want a game, an opportunity, and like, oh, I can't get a PlayStation, but I can get this console and play like whatever random game that I would be playing because that's what's available.
Play FIFA. We can play FIFA because we can't forget the top 10 selling games on PlayStation. On PlayStation games.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Cozy. Go ahead.
So, basically, they're selling people an opportunity, and I think when what Loke was saying, like in places like, oh yeah, like so, I do think it helps PlayStation as like, oh, we are the premium console. But if you look at something like other gamers and a lot of parts of the world who, you know, though you can pull those small gamers who are like, well, I'm not going to have access to this unless I go with this. I'm not going to have access to gaming, that is, unless I go with this. Then you can see, like, there'll be people who will be like, oh, like, especially, like, with their cloud push and stuff like that, like, how little resources that actually even requires and how many markets they're trying to push it into. Things like that just make gaming a reality for people. They are pushing in places where, like, there are people who will just be like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to buy a PlayStation because that's just what you buy. But then there are people who are less sold who will just stick, who are going to be able to play games. So they're just going to just be like, oh, I can go here and play games. And PlayStation doesn't have the ability to do a lot of these things. That's like when you were saying earlier about Microsoft kind of having all these services that they can tailor and use to push gaming in various markets.
All right. So that was us saying that PlayStation is a genius for charging more. We're looking forward to the $1,000 PS6. Thank you, Sony. Thumbs up. Anyone?
He's so damn messy.
He's speaking on his own behalf. He's not speaking on our behalf.
All right. Notable tweets. Let's get to it. We have 2 notable tweets. Oh my goodness. You thought I was messy? Here we go. At Do What You Do 6 says, PlayStation making moves. They are finally charging more than Xbox because it's worth more. I love the aggression. They have positioned themselves as the kings of gaming, and now they're charging a premium. Worth every penny. Yay! I was being ironic. This guy means it. Guy or gal, I don't know. David, what's your take on this marvelous tweet?
With the greatest of respects, he's obviously got no idea about how international finance works. Look, if that's the perspective some people want to take, if they're genuine about it, well, you know, I'm not going to change their mind for anything I say, but if
you don't agree with it,
well, as I said, I'm not going to defend what they've done. I can explain and I can understand it. Doesn't mean I like it, but I can understand it. And there's a lot of that happening in a lot of different areas at the moment. But you know, like if they see it that there's a premium being charged for a premium product, well, I get righto.
All right, Cozy, do you love the aggression? Cozy, do you love the aggression?
I mean,
like at Do What You Do 6.
I you know, a lot of these people are ridiculous. We already know this.
Yeah.
They're
motherfuckers be capping, but it drives a fucking. Oh, I'm not saying this guy drives whatever, but I'm just saying a lot of people be capping on Twitter, but they catching the bus. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, don't probably people.
Probably still paying rent.
Some people
don't
like
even
me
own your own home.
Choose to catch the bus.
Don't even own your own home, but okay. Hamothy. Yes, a big green bus.
People
Hamothy.
choose to catch the bus.
Hamothy, do you love the aggression? Like at Do What You Do.
I think that take just sucks. I mean, I don't think it's good at all. I mean, I understand Oh Lord, I don't know
26
what.
says. No.
What the heck?
Oh, you're
My
fine. You're fine.
internet. My internet.
You don't know how many seconds.
All right. So, are you good now?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, cool. So yeah, so I think this take sucks. They had set it at the price that it was before with $500. I don't understand how you think that it jumped up in quality or it has that much more of a quality boost than anything else, to the point where you're like, I'm gonna grandstand behind this. You know, like this is incredibly cool that they are charging more, because now they're finally, you know, starting to show what they're really worth. And I'm like, dude, that's not even the reason why they did it. Like, like they didn't do it because they believe that their console is so far superior to Xbox. They did this for money. They did this to be able to cover certain areas that were not doing so hot or that need more attention. Like, if you're gloating that, yo, they got this price hike and that was a smart move because they just they should be $700-800. I mean, you're an asshole for thinking or saying something like that. What's up,
so
Dave?
That the person who made that tweet, I'm sorry, I'll come clean here. The person who made that tweet, it's King Thrash, and he's doing it to stir people up on purpose. Like if you've ever followed any of his stuff, he niggles at people, and he had some crackers.
Oh,
yesterday.
This was a troll? For real?
Yeah.
He had some crackers yesterday. He was stirring up some people big time yesterday, with stuff like this. But that's the risk when you take that stance and you don't communicate it well on Twitter. What can be satirical comedy and people think you're genuinely serious is such a fine line that you end up having like conversations like we are now. And I'm almost certain, having spoken to the guy a few times previous, I'm almost certain that he's just taking the piss, so to speak, and just throwing this stuff out there to get a bite from people because he enjoys the combat of the console war. But when if you read the tweet and you don't know who it's from, you look
not even a war anymore. It's a massacre. Come on.
Yeah. How can anybody actually think that? And then you're like, well, shit. There's people that actually agree with that tweet. That's the scary thing. There's people that actually agreed wholeheartedly with that tweet and back that position. And you're just like, how can you view the world like that?
Wow. I guess that's what happens when your personality is identified by a box, Cozy, what do you think about...
What's funny is people will say like that, say things like that, like David just said, as a joke or whatnot. And like,
someone will buy it.
Yeah. Somebody will buy it or hoist it up like, oh, like this is the jam right here. This is what I'm talking about. Bullshit.
All right, settle down with your butt self. Cozy, go ahead.
I assume people that post stuff like that are trolls, and because I don't ever see any of that because I have I don't know, I mute.
Someone screenshotted it for me, and then when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, okay, this is interesting."
But yeah, I assume whenever I see something like that, it's trolls because they don't.
Jesus,
I love the aggression.
Okay, so let's go to the second one. I think this one's not a troll. It's from Jason Schreier, formerly of Kotaku. He said, would love to see a post-mortem on this morning's EA/Amazon kerfuffle. I like that word. My immediate thought was how strange it was that the article headline said Amazon set to buy EA, while the body said Amazon would announce today that it would make an offer to buy EA. This is gonna be fun. Dave. It's still not confirmed. It's still not confirmed. It's still at rumor level as of right now. But what are your thoughts on this potential purchase?
Oh, there's people are in big trouble here. So, a comment gets made, article gets published, stock price goes like this, article gets retracted or proven wrong. Hours later, stock price goes like this. There's an investigation as to who was selling at this point. Someone's in trouble, big trouble.
The stock price right now is lower than it was before.
Are you saying there's some insider trading stuff going on?
No, not insider trading. It's market manipulation, and it's no different to what they did with the GameStop share price when old mate.
Or what Elon Musk did with Twitter.
Exactly.
Or what Elon Musk did with Twitter.
Yeah. So, and this is the power of the media. This is the power of the media. A story breaking news. Something that was a rumor 6 months ago, all of a sudden in the window of happening. And investors go, you beauty, let's get on board. So the price goes like that. And then these are investors that don't do their homework and don't understand why it's happening. And the people, when the stock price goes up like that, gets inflated, and they go, I'm going to sell it now and make whatever I've made off it, because they've probably held it for a while. They bail out of their position because they know something's no good. Then when the price corrects, when it's proven that it's not actually happening, the price comes back down because people that bought it are bailing out of it. The price comes back down, and then the volume of people that are bailing out, it actually gets higher than because these people sold at a high price. Then the stock price goes even lower because people are trying to offload their position because they don't, oh shit, all this buyout was going to happen. Well, it's not happening now. Okay, well, clearly it's not on the cards, and take my money somewhere else and get a better return. So the stock price goes like that. People that do that and that's why when it goes high, they check out on these rumored reports. When the stock prices jump, they do investigations, because if anybody that's involved in that story held shares or sold shares or is associated with anybody who held or sold shares in EA, they're in this shit. And like, I'm talking, if it's big enough, they'll go to jail. That's the impact that it'll have. But still funny to see it happen.
But besides the financial ramifications for potential insider trading or false information trading, what would Amazon buying EA mean to you, Dave?
I think it'd be a positive overall. Like, there's obviously some nuances in there about what will happen, what are they going to do with it, why are they going to do it. It's been no secret Amazon's been there or thereabouts trying to push their gaming thing, and they've just never been able to crack it and make a go of it. But their streaming service is borderline anyway at the moment, whether that actually continues or not. So what I think is an overall positivity is if they buy it, there's a fresh inflush of capital to do stuff with. And as long as they continue to do their third-party publishing deals, I think it's got the opportunity to have that new inflow of cash to make, Battlefield and Need for Speed and some of those other EA games, just to give them a fresh lease of life and actually bring out a bit more quality and have the opportunity to make them better, or even just to make them. I think without that investment, EA is going to stagnate pretty badly. But Amazon's not going to. Yeah, well, Amazon's not going to just throw money at them and then try and manipulate them like others might. Amazon's more of we're going to buy you, you're still your own thing, we just want to make sure all of your games end up on our service.
No, the big TV shows like the Rings of Power. And they're going to use Mass Effect. They're going to use Mass Effect for that shit. Cozy, are you excited to see the Mass Effect TV show?
Not really.
It's not her story.
Yeah, there's no point. I don't want to play someone else's story in Mass Effect. I don't.
As far as acquisition is concerned, do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing?
It would mean that I'm right.
Ooh, please spill the beans.
Did we not have this? We had this conversation before. I'm pretty sure.
No, we didn't.
I was saying I was having a conversation with someone where I said I think it would be likely that Amazon would buy EA.
Nope, not that I remember.
Okay, maybe I was talking to someone else. It was in just a game. But yes, I mean I was right because I've been saying it for ages.
But do you think it's a good thing if they do it? That's the question.
I don't think it could be any worse than what's happening with EA right now.
I don't know.
Right now,
I mean, Amazon did become the first publisher to release a game, then unrelease it. No one's ever done that in the history of gaming. That's how bad they were.
Conversation at some point,
Yeah,
because you said that last time I said
spoke about
this.
Amazon. Yes, we said something about Amazon, but I'm not sure you said that they should get EA.
Because we had this conversation last time, and I remember you saying that to me when I said that.
Anyways,
so let's give close to the dub.
I don't think it'd be that bad. I don't think it'd be that bad because I also think
it'd be terrible.
I also think there's a lot wrong with EA, and I think it was I agree with the whole, like, they would probably just be allowed to kind of operate as they do now, but just with the guarantee that Luna gets their stuff too. So I think that would be beneficial. And I think you'll also probably be perks for their games on what do you call it? On Prime.
Are you also celebrating and throwing your pom-poms around?
No, I'm not. Not at all. Not even slightly.
Oh, assuming.
I mean, I wouldn't personally love it. Would it? Like as for like ramifications behind it or anything like that, I think EA would just still be EA, and it just wouldn't be exciting for me if that were to happen. For me, exciting would be to see EA get purchased by Disney. To me, that would be kind of exciting because, I mean, I've already talked about this on previous podcasts. Like, Disney got, rights to like ESPN. They already got the Marvel and stuff like that. They got Star Wars. And look at what EA's been working on. I mean, they got sports already. They've had sports forever. We all loved the 2K, and 2K was teamed up with ESPN when they were making that 2K game back in the day. So that was pretty dope. So I'd like to see, where that could possibly go, sports terms, but also, like I said, with the Star Wars, I mean, they got the new Fallen Order that's going to be coming out. They just announced and been talking about a new Black Panther game coming to EA as well. So, I mean, EA and Disney's been working a lot, so I'd like to see them get bought out by them if they were going to sell to anybody. But yeah,
I'd say absolutely not.
Sure, but
they closed down their gaming division too.
Maybe because they were bringing in a new gaming division. Who knows? They
don't have a gaming division. They closed down their gaming division. Like, yeah, they really just it was abrupt too. It was very abrupt.
They're ramping it up though. They're ramping it up. Remember the showcase that's coming next month? They're ramping it back up, and now they're also working with more third-party studios. So I think that's where Disney maybe learned a trick. They're like, let's hold on to the IP and then give it out to the best developers. I think that's the tactic.
Yeah. I feel like Disney is testing out which one they like more. So they give a couple IPs over here, give a couple IPs over here, give a couple IPs there, and then sit back and see who's producing, who's consistent, and then maybe pull a trigger in some direction, maybe a trigger that we don't even expect to be shot. What were you gonna say, Dave?
You say you know straight away who's going to perform and who's not going to perform with who they've got games sitting with, in terms of the quality and what we're expecting. If Disney buy EA, I think it's a very different story as what if Amazon bought EA. I feel like there would be less opportunity for the traditional EA games to shine if Disney bought it.
You'd never get It Takes Two.
Yeah. So there'd be those that, but if It Takes Two, you wouldn't get the next version of that if EA gets bought by Disney. But then Annapurna or 505 Games or someone else, or even PlayStation themselves might even pick that one up.
Yeah, so somebody will pick that up.
It's the third party. The third-party publishing that EA does is very important to to, I say, the AA space. It's very important to the industry that remains, because currently there's not anyone else that'll pick that up. Ubisoft can't do it or won't do it. 505, Annapurna and Devolver and all those ones, they don't have the capacity to do it. So some of those smaller devs would be at the behest of, I've got to go to Xbox ID, I've got to go to PlayStation, or I've got to go somewhere else. And that's a market segment that's quite important that a lot of people don't place, that EA actually holds. But if they are removed, eventually someone will fill that space. But if Disney picked them up, there's plenty of IP that they could be playing with. Like you say, Disney's shopped IP around a lot of different places. Whatever they've got sitting with PlayStation, you would expect PlayStation to do most of the Marvel games. EA probably look after the Star Wars stuff because they've done that before. It's I know it's an interesting time because there's not just those two that EA was shopped around to. There's a third party there as well. So.
Well, I know that there was a time where Disney. I know there was a time that Disney was looking at EA. There was a time that they were looking to possibly purchase them, and then they backed out of the deal. So I'm wondering. So I mean, that's the only reason I'm kind of like even thinking about that possibility. Like maybe EA can make, because they made themselves look pretty awful for Battlefield, right? But they have some new things in the work that are getting people excited again. The new Madden seems to be all right. So Madden's always seems to be all right sales wise and stuff like that. But I think they're starting to find. I think they're starting to find their stride again. I have a little bit of faith in EA as all games, not so much for sports, because you know how I feel about EA with their sports games. But I think everyone's looking out for that new Star Wars game, right? Whether you love it or hate it, like it's on your radar. So I mean, I'm expecting EA to do a dope turnaround and maybe make themselves look good for somebody possibly here in the near future.
Is the third player that we would like is Apple?
I'm sorry, say that again. Apple?
I would absolutely not like it to be Apple.
I'd hate that one.
Player that was
go Amazon in that case. Go Amazon in that case.
There you go.
Apple. Jeez, man. Talk about a left turn. I think a happy median would be PlayStation.
No.
There, I said it.
No, they have a lot of.
There's
a lot of PC games.
Cozy, listen to me. Cozy, listen to me. As I paint this gaming Mona Lisa for you. Can you imagine Mass Effect 4 developed by Naughty Dog?
I don't want that. I don't like my Naughty Dog. They don't make the kind of games I want, and they would just ruin Mass Effect.
Fine. Kojima.
Yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not either. You're doing this to piss me off. You're picking a bunch of people that don't make.
Okay.
No, absolutely not either.
Jesus.
I mean, no. Like, I don't see either one of those developers wanting to work on that.
Dragon Age made exclusive for PlayStation. It'll be beautiful. David, back me up.
No. I'm gonna actually smack you upside the head real quick, Lo.
Yes. Can we just be like no?
No, like
what?
The only way EA and PlayStation would work to me is like a kind of like a middle line to cross for, playing fair with Xbox. So Xbox is, buying all this stuff. You want to get exclusive stuff, or you still want to, you want to play this new, Jedi Fallen Order or something like that, the third one or whatnot, and PlayStation owns it. They're going to make some sort of deal with PlayStation or with Xbox, like, oh, you guys want it on your platform too? Well, we need these couple of games while you're at it. So I think
PlayStation don't play those games. PlayStation is just exclusive and fuck off.
Although, no, you got to think of it in a different way. I mean, look at Death Stranding. That's on Game Pass right now. I know Sony
That
had
was an
nothing to do
Xbox's.
with it.
That wasn't
I know
Sony's
Sony had
decision.
nothing
That
to
wasn't
do.
Sony's decision.
I know.
Otherwise,
right?
we would
I
have
know, right?
been spending on Xbox.
I
It's on
know, but
PC.
what I'm saying is people will find those loopholes and figure
I
out
think-
ways to get a game that is coveted
Sorry,
by everybody.
Sports games, it wouldn't matter, I don't think, because I think they would do the
I'm
same thing
sorry.
that MLB did.
Like if they took EA, I feel like they would go the same route that they're going with Bungie, where it's still yours, it's still your thing. You going ahead and put things out on whatever console or whatnot, but just make sure you report back to me.
David, before you jump in, I need to go to the chat for 2 minutes. Oh man, Mr. Inferno is nasty. He says Mass Effect with Naughty Dog, bow and arrow, and tall grass. Dude! Dude!
that was cold.
Low blow.
And then
blow.
and then put it on Game Pass and see what happens.
My God, I can't believe you're clapping to that shit, David. What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Credit
And
where-
arrow
credit where
and tall
credit's due.
grass. Jesus, I
hilarious.
don't even have a comeback. I don't even have a comeback for that shit.
Look, there's probably EA and Ubisoft. I've said this publicly before. The only other two that make sense for Xbox to chase hard is EA and Ubisoft. They're the only big ones that are left that fit, would just assimilate straight into that model for what Xbox is trying to achieve with Game Pass, right?
Absolutely.
But if Xbox took both of those, like, and we're talking as a big maybe because at the moment they don't have the cash for it. But if they took both of those, that leaves a massive hole in the market if they all go. If Activision, EA, and Ubisoft have all gone exclusive to Xbox, how they get that through, I don't know. But if they did, you've got a massive hole in the market, and you've got this flood of space for indies and double A's to just pop up everywhere. So PlayStation doesn't need to compete, can't compete with that in terms of dollars. If that's what happens, that's what happens. We're just going to have to live with that as the new order. What PlayStation is currently trying to do to combat that is get these little pop-up studios that are starting up that have got all this excellent talent in it, and they're funding them. And that's where they're going to grow from there. They'll bring them on board. They'll get their first game out. They'll get a bit of hype around it. And it'll cost them a shitload less to do that. And then partnerships with other key stakeholders. A lot of people don't talk about it, but Take-Two is definitely on PlayStation's radar. Take-Two could quite easily become a partnership like Bungie is. They've got all the credentials that PlayStation's chasing. They're well within their price range. And they'll get a huge amount of value both ways out of it. And there's the IP listing there. Now, if
What? Wow.
hey,
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
That would be crazy. I'm thinking about
If
NBA 2K Day 1 on PlayStation. That would be crazy.
So the problem with those games is those
So
are like those are same thing would happen like with the MLB thing, where eventually they're like, well, you know, we need to make sure we make this money. So they're not going to be like, oh, those licensed people are not, you know, people with the license for
No,
the
but
game.
PlayStation don't
Yeah.
own. They don't own Major League Baseball.
no.
I think
Sega
that's
does as well.
yeah. I don't think the
Well, no,
comparison
they
is
did. They did.
right there.
So Sony had a choice in that. PlayStation had a choice in that. It was either you do this or we'll take the license somewhere else.
Yes,
And if
That
they're
was
in
the
a
choice.
partnership, if they're
That's
in a
like no
partnership,
choice, though.
that's not a
yeah,
choice.
that's the choice. You either do it or you don't. But, you know, Cozy's raised a very, very valid point there, though, because if it has to be multi-plat for whatever reason, you don't want to have your main business game building line as the front window for this. So if you've got a deal like they've got with Bungie's still its own thing, can run semi-independently, just gets all the perks from PlayStation, and the financials are assimilated, right? Bungie can still put Destiny on wherever they like. Some of the new games that are coming, not so much. But then it means that PlayStation can go, PlayStation Studios, you can only get this here. And that is the absolute Ferrari level quality gaming here. And they'll put bucket loads of money into it, and you can only get it here. But if they had someone like Take-Two, or they've got Bungie or whoever else they end up with, they go, they still make their games, they still make their revenue. We just give we just bring all that in as part of our deal. Like if they pick up Square Enix or Sega or whoever it is out of Japan, they're still going to make Switch games with those guys. They're not going to miss out on that revenue stream. It'd be insane to think that they're going to give that shit up. If they get up Capcom, look, if they pick up Capcom, Resident Evil 9 might be exclusive to the PlayStation ecosystem for the first 6 months or 12 months or whatever it is. And that ecosystem might be console and PC and mobile, whatever they come up with. They're not quiet about what they want to do in terms of broadening their horizons, but picking these things up, and this is where it differs the strategy massively. If they pick up someone big, they will not make them all exclusive because they can't afford to. Whereas Xbox picks up someone big, they could make them all exclusive because they don't care if they lose shitloads of money at the moment. It'll be an issue down the track where they're trying to recover all that and people aren't biting for the $30 or $40 a month on Game Pass to try and make that revenue. But, if EA or Ubisoft do get picked up and they're taken out of the marketplace by whoever it is, and they lose that third-party publishing positions there'll be massive opportunities for small and medium current ones to pop up. And it's like big tree falls down in the forest. Heap of smaller trees come up.
Should really love for them to get Ubisoft, if anything. Ugh.
Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation.
You would like for a PlayStation to get a Ubisoft?
Yeah, if anyone gets Ubisoft.
Oh, okay.
That's just because
Assassin's Creed fits the PlayStation.
Not just in a bad way, though. I think they could make Ubisoft better.
Yeah, they could. They could.
There's a lot of the similarities in the Ubisoft and PlayStation.
Yes.
What's an Ubisoft game that they cross over quite well? Less so, but then EA does a much better job crossing over with Microsoft. For a long time there, I thought EA was a division of Microsoft when I was younger. So
if EA goes to Microsoft and then Madden is
would
day
not.
one on Game Pass, that would be on the same level as Call of Duty in terms of big.
It kind of would.
Like, we don't have to like it. Just look at the numbers. Like, open up a Google page. Just check the top played games on PlayStation, top played games on Xbox.
Yeah. Relate that back to revenue, though, because all of this shit, and as much as people don't like to talk about it, all of this comes back to the original point of this podcast. They're there to make money. So if they spend tens of hundreds of billions of dollars to get all these games and they stick them in Game Pass and you can still get it for $1, that's excellent value for the gamer. How does it translate to bottom line revenue and profit for the company? And if they can't make it profitable, it doesn't matter what they do.
Yep.
They could have COD, Madden, FIFA, the works could all be exclusive, but if they can't make bank with it, it's all completely pointless.
FIFA specifically it's still a 50-50 thing because they're losing the license this year. FIFA 23 is the last FIFA. So we're not sure if that's going to stick. But Madden specifically, because of the microtransactions, Madden is the perfect game to put on Game Pass because the whole thing is built on microtransactions. It's not even selling the game that makes them the money. It's the microtransactions, just like FIFA.
That's right. That's right.
And
but you need that large.
Check cozy.
You need that large player base. You need the large player base doing the microtransactions. And what they'll risk by doing them exclusive is they sell, 50, 60, 70% on PlayStation currently. We're just going to make it exclusive to Game Pass. So now, if it's Game Pass, PC and console, that's not as bad. If they make it Game Pass console only, holy shit, Game Pass console only, and putting it in where people are reluctant to pay for anything, the risks are huge. They really are.
It's a gigantic risk. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been on for 3 freaking hours.
Yeah.
That is wild. We're skipping quiz time. Go ahead, Cozy. You want to say something?
I was going to say, I just really think I don't see a lot of these, I hope it's like more like with like Destiny and stuff like that, where these studios are like operating on their own, and these companies get perks of having them to like kind of like add them to like, oh yeah, you make us money and you give us occasional perks for owning us, but not really necessarily being like, this is mine and everything you do is mine, which I think benefits us all.
I think Sony can do that because they're the market leader in hardcore gaming. Like they're number 2 in console sales in general, right? But we have to accept that like Nintendo is not really in the same lane as PlayStation. So I think they can get away with doing with by. I think PlayStation could get EA and say Madden is exclusive to PlayStation, and it wouldn't rock the boat, in my opinion.
No,
I disagree.
But all right, have we reached the end? Have we reached? No, stop. Have we reached?
We've reached the end.
We are skipping quiz time. We are skipping game predictions. Just gonna go through the game results. We had Midnight Fight Express releasing on all platforms. Sorry. K Mega last week said 82, Cozy 86, Ham 83, Sensei 78, Nightwolf 76, Blind Giant 79. The person that got it right is Nightwolf with 76 because the score for Midnight Fight Express is 75. Saints Row. Game of the year, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my
Game
God,
of the
I
year.
think everybody was crazy wrong on this one.
Said 77, Cozy said 80, Ham said 78, Blind Giant 83, Nightwolf with 79. K-Mega was the closest, but it was very far from being close. He said 77, the actual score was 69. Wow. Saints Row. SD, and then we had SD Gundam Battle Alliance. I got this one, but I'm not sure I'm gonna have time for it because after I finish Yakuza, I'm gonna have to jump into finally do Ghost of Tsushima. Okay. So SD Gundam Battle Alliance on all platforms. K Mega said 75, Cozy 71, Ham 78, Blight Giant 69, Sensei 84. The closest was K Mega with 75 because the actual score was 76.
He cheated.
He did not, Cozy.
I'm slandering him. I know he's not gonna be listening to this, but I'm a slander him.
Oh, he's listening. He's listening because he's off. He's off his podcast this week because special birthday thingy. So he's definitely listening. Lastly, we had Soul Hackers 2 on all platforms. K Mega said 85, Cozy 87, Ham 80, Sensei 70, and Nightwolf 79. The actual score was 77. So Nightwolf we somehow pulled it out of the hat and won game predictions for last week. We don't have time to check for next week, but there's nothing special coming out next week. It's just Destroy All Humans, Immortality, and a little game called The Last of Us Part 1 remake. It's nothing. Nothing special. Nothing.
That's fine.
3 hours, ladies and gents.
It was good. I enjoyed this. I like this, Dave.
Do you like Dave?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Dave, please, before Ham takes us out, please tell us where people can find you, what you like, what you don't like, etc.
So I'm mostly on Twitter, at Forky87. Find me slumming around on the Twitter dome. If you got any questions about anything I've said tonight, or you want to have a chat about any of this sort of stuff, hit me up. If the DMs aren't working, just tag me in something. otherwise, you'll find me on Woolies Company Gamers podcast or Doomsday's the Damaged Plan podcast. And I'm floating around, happy to have a chat. I'm not big into console war stuff. I don't really buy into that stuff. I'm more the chat about games and chat about.
We're just goofy.
Having fun. Yeah. No, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. A good chat. I've enjoyed myself.
Fantastic.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks.
You're definitely going to have to come on in a less busy week so we can do quiz time. Oh, where's Cozy? Did Cozy just bounce?
Good.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, she's back.
Take us out, bro. Take us out.
All right. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for checking out the show. It was a fantastic one. Thank you to our special guest today, Dave, for coming out. That was a lot of dope information that you laid down. It's really good to see your point of view on things. And it's really good to just talk to somebody that's not like so lopsided on just like general thinking and gaming. You seem like a very balanced person. So that's really good to see. But yeah, thank you everybody in the chat as well for showing up. You guys kept the chat pretty busy today. That was pretty nice. Make sure you guys come back next Friday for our show. We're going to be starting at 3:15 Central Time, 4:15 Eastern Time, as we're supposed to be.
I'll be in cosplay.
Cozy might not be here, which it sounds like me and Loke might have to carry that show. But you can also check out the show every Tuesday and Thursday for Behind Them Sticks when I talk to various gamers all over the world.
What about stick them behind?
Okay. Oh my God. Wow. But anyways, appreciate everybody for stopping through. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. What's that? What the hell is going on? Sticks in the same place? Every time I try to do the outro, you guys make sure to make it messy. Anyways, y'all have a wonderful rest of the day. Keep it gaming, keep it moving. Peace out, y'all.